markets. I know EV is a big topic in the area, and so I also selected some of these use cases because obviously this is also a very important piece for a lot of our customers. In our experience, many times connected mobility comes with EV, but obviously this is not necessarily required. But this is kind of like for the big OEMs what we have seen in the past years. When we're talking about connected mobility, we're talking about how can I basically create on-demand features while the vehicle is already released, right? Like, so basically I might have an upsell, I can sell them later a new digital service in the vehicle, maybe I give it for free, new mapping information, but I can also basically create a marketplace around this. I can create a marketplace that someone can buy new apps that can later be loaded into the vehicle. We're thinking about multimodal mobility, right? Like, how do I basically get the telemetry data? Someone is arriving at a certain point with a car, is being handed over to a sharing service, is basically renting a bike for the last mile, or is like going over into a different way of transportation. And then also, of course, like when you think about electrification, like where's charging, where can I get a new battery for my vehicle, what's the current capacity, and so on, is a big topic. And then obviously we also talk a lot with our customers about autonomous driving and how basically can advanced driving systems being made possible in the future to make sure that vehicles can at some point drive by themselves, right? Like, but even right now, how can I basically assist the driver to have higher safety standards and also more comfort during driving? If you look into what are our big customers there, again, BMW Group and Toyota together with Honda probably are the ones that are standing out. But then we are also working with companies like Here Technologies, who is a mapping provider. If you're thinking about advanced driving, you really want to make sure that you have high quality maps there available. And so you're really trying to kind of like get in the whole value chain and support all the different players at their place where they are in order to get them to the to basically create a cohesive customer experience and driver experience. I have one example is like from Honda here. I think in the end it's a lot about speed, and I think this is where we can help. So if you have a customer who is very interested in moving fast, in this case it was about personalized charging experiences. Amazon Battery, basically our service run generative AI models and to have insights in a very easy and way that you can kind of like switch language models out. So Bedrock is kind of, let's say, an API layer and a standardized model. And in the end, you can have an Amazon model under there. You can have an Anthropic model, now also OpenAI models under it. And it's a very easy way to kind of like tap into the new generative AI world. We've got it with guardrails and other topics. I think it's an exciting service to look at. I already mentioned autonomous mobility, autonomous driving, right? Like ADAS systems. It's a big area where we are currently seeing a lot of interest from customers. And if you're thinking about ADAS and advanced driving, it's a lot about getting data. And I think this is where we see where potentially can help customers, big and small. We have made a lot of experiences with some of our automotive OEM customers where they are like, okay, we have a production, we have, let's say, start on the bottom, right? Like we talked about developer desktop. How do I basically give developers virtualized hardware in order to test? Do I integrate physical hardware, hill hardware in the loop that can basically then be used in the second iteration, test my autonomous driving system? then I have a test fleet at some point, and then I have a production fleet. How do I basically all of this data out? How do I make this data available to iterate on, to find scenes? As you can imagine, in these processes, it's you get a lot of data from the sensors, from the cameras that are very, very much the same the whole time. People driving down the street. It's the same, similar streets, it's similar cities. It's like there's a lot of like redundancy in that. But then there are obviously a lot of edge cases and a lot of very interesting events, and you want to make sure that all of these events are basically being captured. So we work a lot with more customers on how to actually find this. Right? Like, can I put a query in where I say, okay, I want to have, I need a scene where in rain, mother with their child is crossing the street and there's an animal in addition, right? Like, so things like this, how can I basically get this data out of my terabytes of collected data that I have, and how do I basically get it into this loop and kind of like get it back into the training, test it again in the developer laptop, and make it available as an update potentially to the production fleet. Again, a lot of, or like everything is still following the standard processes, that safety procedures, but it's in the end more like how to make this process easier and actually make it more scalable. Some of our customers we're working closely with. There was a big announcement we had earlier this year at CES, the Customer Electronics show in Las Vegas, where we actually helped together with Continental, which is now called Omovio. We helped trucking company Aurora for level 4 tracking. We're also having Torque, which is part of the Daimler Trucks ecosystem. They're also looking into 4. There were a lot of customers who are at very late stages in a sense of that they are building these autonomous systems already, and they're working with us for many years. And so I think one of the interesting pieces here is, as AWS, we're not just bringing the technology as in a sense of the services, but we're also having the people and this experience to get it right the first time, right? And I think this is also a big benefit where our partners can basically tap into this and making sure that they have access to our experts. And then if you're interested in kind of like having a connected mobility solution, right? Like, you don't have to start from the beginning. We can basically work with a partner in order to get this quickly going, and you standing a little bit on the shoulders of giants, because we already have done this with some of the customers, and they were okay and kind of like making this as an industry solution and having it out there, because their differentiator is usually the data. It's not really how to plug AWS services together, right? Like, everyone can do this still. Some magic sauce to it. But in the end, it's really about like the differentiator for the different companies. It's like the data they are collecting and the models that they are training based on this data. So this is a quote from the CEO of Aurora. Again, they were looking into how basically they can process trillions of data points every day from their onboard sensors, and how to basically scale this to millions of physical-based driving simulations. And while this quote is a little bit older, in the end, they basically launched in 2024, and so therefore they were very happy in a sense of to have basically the Aurora driver, at least in the first version, being available. When we're looking into digital customer experience, right? Like, it's about our customers looking into how basically can brands be how can data help to create a better experience for the customer when it comes to brand recognition, using services, different channels for sales, and so on. I think, again, you're thinking about how do I keep a customer? How do I create loyalty for a certain brand? I think we have seen this is getting harder and harder for some companies. And so by basically using this digital world, using AI, ML in order to kind of like get engagement with the customers and just keeping them is helping them a lot. So in the end, this is really about the customer and the vehicle. So what a lot of our customers are doing is what they call customer 360, right? Like, so you want to have this one customer, but you need to have basically all the data. And it's not just about the one vehicle they have, but it's actually connected. Have they bought a second vehicle that I don't know if this car, if this motorcyclist comes into a shop, is this basically just a customer who has one, or is it a fleet customer who has 10? And I want to maybe treat them a different way, or basically have different opportunities to kind of like upsell something. So I think there's the more you basically understand who you're basically interacting with, who's your customer, can give you a better way to create this personalized hyper personalization. I think is a big topic right now with different of our customers. And again, it comes from on the one hand side, it's the sales channel, it's the helping them in a dealership, helping them in a repair shop, but then also really like making sure the end-to-end loop is closed and the data is being available no matter where they are. We work again a lot, like for example, BMW Financial Services, right? Like this is a company who was basically helping BMW as part of BMW to do their financing for customers. And of course, for them, it's very interesting to see if there is a customer or a repeat customer, maybe with different vehicles. In the past, it was very vehicle centric. And I think the industry is moving more and more towards the customer centricity. One quote here, personally was not involved in this, even though this is very exciting because it is Ferrari. But basically, I think there's a lot of excitement going on in companies like Ferrari who have worked with us in order to create this customer, this new customer relationship, right? Like they basically wanted to create a digital experience and combine this also with the way for how to configure an online channel and so on. And they also used our Amazon Bedrock service in order to basically use generative AI, use tools in order to analyze pictures to really make sure vehicle configuration can be done better in the future. It's about simulation, and again, it's also about the showcasing the vehicle to the customer and the digital channel, and therefore, again, creating new traction, creating new ways on to help the customer. This was it from my side. Thank you so much. I'm very excited that I was able to speak to you and give you a glimpse of what Amazon for Automotive is doing. There's more behind it, right? Like we have seen in the beginning, the cycle of all the areas we're working with. If you're interested, please reach out. We have in the audience, we have representatives from AWS. We have partners like Arthurite who are helping. So please reach out to them. I think this is a very good way. Like I mentioned before, we're working a lot with partners and through partners. So please use the opportunity to be in one room and engage with them and our representatives from AWS. I have to apologize again that I was not able to be there in person, but I'm still very thankful to have this opportunity. Maybe the next time, but until then, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Did we take notes? Please, we want to ask questions, so we actually know the people that were attentive.
I came with lots of gifts, so I need to know those who are attentive.
If we ask you guys questions, will you be able to answer?
Are you sure? Are you sure you will not fall my hand?
Nobody's responding.
Wait, are you sure you will not fall my hand? Okay, I have one questions and I need 3 answers. So I need 3 persons to answer me. So if you get it right, just meet me after the event and you get your gifts. So I know Dr. Leng talked about a lot of things, right? But there is something that I really paid attention to as somebody who is in the cloud as well. What is AWS offering for the automotive industry? Can anyone let us know about that? He mentioned 8 of them. You have?
Is there anyone who wants to answer? Please raise
Yes,
up your
I
hand.
need 3 answers. Please don't look at your books.
There were 8. You can answer 3 and that's enough.
No.
3?
3 answers, yes.
Yeah,
I need
just
3
3.
answers from 3 different people.
Okay. Wait, 3 answers each or 1 answer each?
1 answer, 1 person, 1 answer, 1 person.
So if you can name just one offering AWS has for EVs, raise up your hand. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3.
3.
Yes.
Okay.
So who's going first?
Can we have her? Yes. No. Yes.
Okay, come forward. Please come forward.
No, there's no need. She can.
Yeah, so that the camera.
Okay. Please, can you come from here? But we've been asking.
We're asking now. You see, we're taking from the front.
Let's do those at the back, a service. Can we have, if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, the first person I see the person's hand up, I'm going to pick the person. So, Osinachi, can you help me on count?
Yes, okay.
1,
2.
No. 1.
No. People in front, don't raise up your hand. People at the back.
No, everybody. So we can just speak around.
Wait, bring down your hands. So
we'll
use a
1,
countdown.
2. No, keep your hand down. At
the count of 3, you raise your hands.
1, 2.
At the count of
Nigerians.
Simple instruction. At the count of 3, please. At the count of 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
That
guy in yellow hat, Abi?
Yes.
Yes, that guy in yellow cap.
And then.
Oh, the lady. And okay.
Yeah, amazing. 2 of them. So.
No, yours was late now, and you are in the front. Okay, so let's.
Sorry.
The question is, AWS has about 8 offerings that they offer.
Automotive solution areas.
Exactly.
Can you give us any one of them?
Just one.
I think the first one was AWS AMD, something like that. Yeah.
Is she correct?
No.
Okay.
No. You don't know too.
You don't know. Okay, your time is up.
No, but she's not correct. She's not correct.
So, do you know the answer?
Okay.
AI and IoT.
Please introduce
service.
yourself.
Okay.
Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Ojekunle Alima and I am from Osokwala local branch.
Okay.
So, AI and IoT services.
Is she correct?
Yes.
Hey. She's not correct.
No, she's not correct.
Much. A round of applause for her, please.
Please clap for her. She even tried.
Okay. He came out first.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Antonio Mutiu. I'm from Lagos Island East. I think the first thing that it made mention is talking about the Automotive Mobile Development Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
talking about the software
software
development program.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we give him a round of applause? Yeah, thank you very much.
Please, after the event, reach out to her.
So
She'll
we
give
have
you
2
your
more
gifts.
options.
Okay.
People are coming out without knowing the answer to the question. Some of you are still sitting. She's asking what the question is. Please.
Okay. I'm Sadiq from Lagos Mainland here. I work on a mobility platform. So yeah, the 8 out of the 8, he mentioned the software, the cloud, the location, the mapping devices they are working on, and the software that is going to power mobility.
What are their particular names? Because there were names for those individual services and offerings.
I actually did not memorize, but I
no
know
problem.
those mapping, the software that will power cars, and the machine learning and devices towards the down of this thing.
Yeah, I honestly, what we need is the actual names, but you have a very good idea. Please give him a round of applause for trying.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, him first.
Okay. Good day, everyone. My name is Anya Gochuku David from the University of Lagos. So, Alexander Link said one of the 8 opportunities for AWS was connected mobility and electric vehicles.
Mobility, yes, amazing. Please give him a round of applause.
Okay, so we have one question and one answer to go.
My name is Samuel Oladiji, and one of the 8 offerings is data transformation for customers.
Data transformation for customers.
For customer experience.
For customer experience. Okay.
Yeah, round of applause for him.
Please give them all a round.
Yeah,
give them all a round of applause, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We're going to be having this kind of question and answer sessions after each of the sessions. So I encourage all of us to listen attentively. All right, so Dr. Leng gave us the global perspective of electric mobility, EV vehicles, and all those good stuff. Let's look at it from the Nigerian perspective. We are bringing it home. So we are going to be having our next keynotes come up to the stage. And at this point, we are going to be having a conversation, or it's going to be walking us around a topic called From Policy to Production, Building Nigeria's Homegrown Electric Vehicle Industry. So I've been asking myself questions since this event came up, and I've been trying to understand how everybody, just the way Dr. Leng talked about AWS offering and all. What is the future of Nigeria's electric mobility system? Are there policies that we need? How can we transform this ambition to become something that has become part of us? So that is the topic, or that is the question our keynote speaker is going to be trying to walk us through. So ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together as we welcome our next keynote speaker in the name of Mr. Otumba Oluwemimo Joseph Osanibi. I'm sorry, sir. So, as he comes on stage, I'm going to be reading his bio. Sorry, sir. Okay, Mr. Otumba is a distinguished industrial administrator. He's a chartered accountant and a director general and CEO of National Automotive Design and Development Council. He's appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we have the presidency in our midst. Round of applause for him. So he spearheads Nigeria's national automotive policies, localized manufacturing hubs, and strategic transition to alternative energy transportation, including compressed natural gas and electric vehicles. Mr. Osanibin brings over 28 years of cross-industry expertise, spanning corporate finance, internal audit, and logistics. Previously served as the Chief Operating Officer of Jet Systems Automobile Industry Limited, pioneering homegrown African electric vehicles, and held executive finance roles at the GIG Group and Zenith Bank PLC. He's an alumnus of Obafemi Awolowo University, BSc in Accounting, and University of Benin, MBA. He's a fellow of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, committed to driving eco-friendly industrialized mobility framework across sub-Saharan Africans. Ladies and gentlemen, I just read a wonderful profile to you. If you know who you have on your list,
with a resume like that, you can't sit down and clap for our next keynote speaker. Please rise on your feet and give him a standing ovation.
Please, round of applause. Please cheer him up as he gets on stage. We can do better.
You can do better. Please, a round of applause.
Welcome, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how to put it. I'll be saying this with mixed feelings. I am representing this very big man that you are seeing on the screen. He's my boss, and he's actually on some official engagement with our minister, the Minister of Trade and Industry. My name is Olumese Ibadude. I am the head of IT, and I'm representing him. He said I should move upstairs. Good morning once again. So like I said, I'll be representing my boss, who is the DG, National Automotive Design and Development Council. I had mentioned this on some official engagement with my parent minister, that's the Minister of Trade and Industry. My name is Engineer Olumese Ibadude. I'm the head of ICT at the National Automotive Design and Development Council, where this distinguished leader is currently heading. I will be presenting his keynote address, and I will go straight to the point. So the country director, Amazon Web Service, distinguished captains of industries, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be speaking on a topic titled From Policy to Production, Building Nigeria's Homegrown Vehicle Industry. It's actually a keynote address. Today, we stand at the dawn of a new era in Nigeria's mobility, one defined by innovation and sustainability, and a bold pursuit of an intelligent electric future. As we gather under the theme, One with AI, Powering Mobility and EV Ecosystems with Amazon Web Service, we embrace not just a conversation, but imported technology. The automotive industry has evolved, and we are reimagining our value chain to build cleaner, smarter, and highly connected transport networks. Our journey from policy formulation to active production is anchored by the new National Automotive Industry Development Plan. This is our master blueprint to stimulate local manufacturing by providing targeted incentives and fostering exponential industry growth. To catalyze this transition, the federal government has instituted a 0% duty on semi-knockdown and completely knockdown electric vehicles, alongside pioneer status holidays for EV components manufacturers. We're intentionally shifting the economy away from internal combustion reliance and directing it towards an indigenous electrification system. We are not merely importing vehicles anymore. We are architects of a national development, building the infrastructure required to sustain it. NADDC successfully established several solar-powered DC fast charging stations across strategic institutions, and some of them include the University of Lagos, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and the Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto. So we have located them in 3 geopolitical zones. Now, these charging stations are not just fueling points. They are research hubs engaged in driving local innovation and development of indigenous solutions in the automotive industry. Some of these institutions are currently partaking in the ongoing national competition to design and produce an 8-seater electric campus shuttle. Yet, that's not all we are doing. We're also building infrastructure and engineering solutions across different parts of the country. But that's not everything we do. While we are building this infrastructure and indigenous vehicles, which is only half of what we do, we must also guarantee that the commercial viability of these vehicles that are built or assembled in the country. And to actualize this, the market development pillar of the NEIDP, we are collaborating with key government agencies to build institutional frameworks that aggressively drive demand and sales. One of these is the partnership with the back of industry to provide targeted funding for local automotive assemblers and component manufacturers. On the other side, that's the demand side, we're also working with the Credit Corps to provide low-interest facilities for vehicle purchasing. Now, we must also recognize that the modern electric vehicle is no longer just a mechanical asset. It's now a complex computational framework. Hence, we are partnering with global technology leaders like Amazon Web Service, which will allow us to integrate big data analytics seamlessly into our automotive ecosystem. A homegrown EV industry must be underpinned by taking advantage of machine learning models that predict everything from grid load optimization to real-time traffic dynamics. By employing data analytics to understand urban mobility patterns and establishing rigorous simulation life cycles for battery performance, we are accurately modeling the unique demands of the Nigerian environment. Predictive analysis will allow our indigenous assemblers to anticipate component wear, optimize charging infrastructure network dynamically, as well as to deliver on the serviceability and advantages of EV systems. Data is the new fuel, and through cloud infrastructure, we're empowering our local engineers to design static and dynamic models that will define the future of African mobility. As we reflect on the milestones of our national industry journey, we are reminded of trailblazers who insisted that made in Nigeria is not just a mere slogan, but a technical imperative. We are expanding upon the legacy by ensuring our workforce is future ready. Accordingly, the National Automotive Design and Development Council has developed what we call the National Occupational Standards for EV operations and maintenance. That is the after-sales support. And these NOS, what we call them occupational standards, have been approved by the National Board for Technical Education. And this NOS will help us to train generations of technical minds that will be capable of sustaining the high-tech automotive ecosystem. True engineering is said to be an art of transforming a nation's energy challenges into its greatest competitive advantages. Through the fusion of policy, manufacturing, and artificial intelligence, we are not just moving people, we are driving the future. The potential within Nigeria and the broader West African sub-region is immense. However, realizing a future where intelligent, Nigerian-made EVs power our roads requires relentless collaboration. Governments will continue to provide supportive policies, but industry and technology partners like Amazon Web Service must invest in scaling these clean data-driven solutions. Together, we are developing the frameworks, training the minds, and connecting the sectors that will make e-mobility thrive. Thank you for your attention, and God bless us all.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Are we ready? I'm not feeling the energy from the hall. Do we need food? Don't worry, there are lots of food to eat today. This is Arthurite event, and we are so consistent with, topping the charts with awesome events. So we need our energies. Thank you so much, Mr. Otumba, again for the insightful session. And I hope we learned a lot from the session because we are going to be testing that right now. Are we ready? Are we ready? 50K to be won.
Somebody is very ready on this end.
500K to be won. In fact, I can cut you check of 1 million. I don't even have 1 million saved. All right. So we are going to be having an interactive session. Media, are we ready? So Osinachi and myself will not be asking this question. Arthurites Integrated have their own questions that they would like to ask us, generally from this session and generally about the topic. So we're going to be having a little Kahoot sessions. So can we bring out our phones? Make sure you have internet so you cannot work without data. So please, can we bring out our phones and scan the QR code on the screen? Those of us at the back.
Can we see the screen clearly? Are you able to capture the QR code, or should we make it bigger? Okay.
Please, can we make it bigger?
If possible, you can just zoom into the...
Or just also keep a link on the screen so they can type it manually on their search. Yeah, so can we go to slido.com?
That link is a lot.
Yeah, I think it's...
to paste it just on the screen. The best thing is, yes.
Okay. All right. So are we still joining? Are we expecting more people? What is the issue? You are using Android 10. Oh. Don't worry, we'll buy you guys new phones. Are we expecting more people? Have we all joined? Do you
are
need
still too little.
assistance? Do
15
you need
people
AI
only.
assistance?
Okay, 57, 59, and counting.
Please, we need 100 people to
At
join.
least 100 people. At least 100 people. People at the back, you can see the QR code clearly. Can you scan it clearly? Can you scan it clearly? It seems. I'm taking that as a yes. Now. Can you guys scan it like well? Am I hearing no? Am I hearing yes? Okay.
We have 70. We have 85. If we're not up to 100,
12 more to
I
go.
will join and I'll answer all the questions and I'll go away with the prizes. So better
6
join
more.
now.
4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, we have our number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Can we start?
Is anyone joining here? Okay, we already started.
There is something on the screen. Toib, there is something on the screen. I think you should take that away.
Which technology enables EVs to share real-time data with cloud platforms? Someone picked floppy disk.
Someone picked fax machine. Yeah, we are learning.
We are learning.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for laughing. Yes, so the answer is obviously.
Please, what's the answer?
What's the answer?
I don't know this one too. Oh, IoT sensors. Round of applause for yourself.
If you got it, round of applause. If you didn't get it, don't clap.
All right, next question.
What is the main purpose of Amazon recognition in smart mobility? This is a very good question. Amazon recognition.
If you select tire replacement,
Yes. We should call them out. We should call the people that are picking these things out.
Please, you give me the data.
Actually, you should give us the data. You should see the people that are actually doing this. And the answer is, I'm kidding. But you guys are hiding and selecting the wrong things. It's not good though. Okay. So next question.
Yeah.
Which factor is most important for scaling EV adoption? Most important. Reliable charging infrastructure. Most important. Some of them are important, but which is the most important? Oh, it's actually reliable. I would have thought more fuel stations. Oh, fuel! I didn't even see the fuel. Yes, reliable charging infrastructure. Yes, next question. Which AWS service helps stream real-time mobility data? If you were listening to that Alexander Legg session, you should probably get this one.
Do you know it?
I know the answer.
What's the answer?
Oh, yes, can you see?
Yeah, data lake.
I get the mistake.
Yeah, Okay, there was a draw.
Yes, there was a draw.
And that was very close.
Yes, it was close. Which energy source powers most EVs?
It's kerosene.
If anybody answers this question wrong.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wait, coal. As in coal.
Wait, indirectly. Indirectly, I can see that. Indirectly. Because coals power turbines. And those turbines power the electricity that charge vehicles. So in a way,
But it doesn't power it.
but it doesn't for charging sake. So I am trying to justify the people that answer. Don't even come for me. I'm justifying the people that chose that coal. The answer is electricity stored in batteries. But I get where they got the answer from. Thank God nobody chose kerosene. That one is unjustifiable. So next question. Which AWS service allows applications to send notifications to users?
If you fail this one.
No, there's a potential for people to fail this one.
If they are not AWS.
Yes, if you don't use AWS frequently, there's a huge possibility.
You're allowed to fail.
Yes. Wow. So what's the answer? It means that you get some of you here. That's nice. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Please clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. So far, so good. So far, so good.
Yeah, at least we have very good people who are turning up well.
Yeah. Next question, please. Which component is most critical in an EV? wait. Allow them to answer.
I'll cry for you, if you fail this one. You will see tears in my eyes.
Most critical. You don't even need to add.
Yeah, no, there is an emphasis on critical. Please,
we need to see the person that chose that exhaust pipe. Like, where is it? What is this exhausting? What is coming out of the exhaust pipe?
Oh, what is even going in?
Please, next question. Electric battery, please. That's the point. It's electric.
That is even why we are here.
Why is data analytics important in mobility ecosystems? Why is it important? Is it to help organizations make informed decisions? Is it to reduce internet access?
Pretty basic.
Yeah. I don't know why people are failing them. Hey. Okay, great. It reduces, like, somebody is like pushing my button. Somebody is pushing me.
These people at the back. My mind is telling me that these wrong answers are coming from you.
Protest.
They are the ones failing it, right? I know.
Oh my God. Next question, please. Oh wow. What is the future vision of AI-powered mobility ecosystems? It's an amazing question on why we are even here. And the answer is, let's see what people selected more.
Round of applause! Round of applause!
Please clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Please. Please. Complete removal of technology. I would have fought that person.
The person shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Next question, please. What is a connected vehicle? What is a connected vehicle? There's an option here that if I see any selection there. God. If I see any selection of that option, God, you must give me the data for this thing. It's not the one I was thinking.
No.
It's not the one I was thinking, but it's still a terrible answer. It's still a terrible answer, but no problem. At least 98%. Please clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. You are not proud of yourselves. Clap for yourselves now. Next question, please. No, yes, but like you said, only connected by phone. Why is low latency important in smart mobility systems?
Important.
Why is low latency important? Why is it important? You first have to know what latency is. So what do people choose?
Speed. Latency and speed are the same.
To slow down.
To increase manual operations.
I don't want to start justifying, but it kind of makes sense that somebody will respond like that if they don't know what latency means.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But how can you be increasing manual operations?
If they don't know what latency is. Next question.
Okay.
Which technology helps EVs locate nearby charging stations automatically? Which technology helps EVs locate nearby charging stations automatically? Please think before you click. I'm going to take the wrong answer as a misclick. I will not take it as you purposely selected it. Okay.
Yeah, satellite.
Satellite TV. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Next question, yeah. Which of the following is an example of AI in mobility? Somebody will pick option 5. Somebody will pick option 5. So option 5 is the best answer, Abi. Amazing.
So you've been the one getting the wrong answers.
Somebody is trolling me here. Somebody has to be trolling me. Like, this cannot be real. Yes, next question, please.
Getting systems. Really?
What is the primary function of a battery management system in an EV? Primary.
See, if you don't know this one, just come to me. Come. If you don't know this one, just meet me after the event. You need counseling. To manage music.
So these people are trolling. There's no way. Like, there's no way.
Manly friends are here.
These people are trolling.
Option 5.
Next question, and the final question for the Slido round.
Range anxiety.
What does range anxiety mean in EV adoption? If you have an idea of electric vehicles, you will understand what this means.
Going out before reaching a destination. My best bet is option.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think.
So what's the answer?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Please, a round of applause for yourselves. If that person that answered option 5 in 2 questions ago, don't clap for yourself. Every other person, please give yourself another round of applause.
Please, a round of applause. We can do better. All right. So we have our winners, Muhammad Sarumi.
If you are Muhammad Sarumi, please.
With evidence.
Come with evidence.
Come with evidence.
Please, a round of applause as he steps out. Please,
yes,
clap for him.
A round of applause for him.
It's not easy. Please clap for him. Clap for him well. Oh, we have 5 people that drew. Wow, that's amazing. So Akinyemi Sodiq.
So what are we going to do? We have 5 drawers.
Akinyemi Sodiq. We have Kasali Damilola. Okay, we have Adeola and we have Omotosho Joshua. Can you all come out, please? Can you all come out? Please, as they come out, please clap for them. This is not easy. It's not easy to get every single question correct. It's amazing. Please clap for them. 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 Amazing, amazing,
Wait,
amazing.
See all the women in this hall. My fellow feminists. What is happening? You're busy. Oh, wow. It's good. So, congratulations, guys. I'm going to be giving you your pictures.
Let's take a picture with them, I think.
So is that their gifts? The pictures?
No, they should get a gift afterwards. Any picture?
Yeah. Okay, no pictures. Let's give them a golden handshake then.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Golden handshake. Golden handshake. Please, another round of applause for them as they go back to your seat. Please, after the event, come to meet us. We'll give you your prizes.
So we're going to be going to the next session. Our 2 keynote speakers have given us strategies. They've told us what is possible with electric vehicles. And now we're going to be seeing them in action. We've discussed it. We've had it with our ears. We've had it from the perspective of industry veterans. Now, the Arthurite integrated team are going to be coming on stage right now to show us what can be possible. That is not all that can be possible anyway, but a few of what can be possible with technology. Please, can we have them on stage?
Please, as they come on stage, give them a round of applause. Can we have the Arthurite team on stage? Awesome.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I think I'll just stay. All right. Good afternoon. I hope we're having a good time. Okay, yeah. So, first, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here, our guests, and also our panelists, our speakers. We are very honored and grateful to have you amongst us. By way of introduction, my name is Paul, and I'm a solutions architect at Arthurite Integrated, and I'm joined here by my colleague.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayobami Ayomikun, and I'm a solution engineer at Arthurite Integrated.
Yes, and we have one more person.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Akande Kontohi. I'm also a solutions engineer for Arthurite Integrated.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we have some products that we're going to talk about, right? And the first one we're going to start is eSwap operating system, which is the intelligent operating system for battery swapping infrastructure. So my colleague here, Ayobam, is going to give a brief introduction on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paul. So there's a popular notion among Nigerians that goes, how will EV work in a country that cannot guarantee 20 hours of power to its citizen? So there is this challenge where we have multiple grid collapse during this year alone. We have electricity tariff vary by service band, and it's continuing to rise every day by day. There's a 4-hour to 8 hours average daily supply for most Nigerians. That's the current reality of the power system in this country. And in the new adoption of EV in Nigeria, we need to address this problem. And everybody here, I think, is affected by this problem and is who are going to shape how this EV adoption is going to go.
Yes, next page, please. All right, so, and from the research that we have done, right, so we know it's not a hardware problem and it's not a technology problem. It's actually a problem of coordination, right? So what do we mean? A lot of riders will lose about 45 minutes hunting for batteries, right? So these are riders that probably have KPIs daily. They have different deliveries they need to do. And in looking for places where they can get maybe like their next charge or their next battery, they lose about 45 minutes. And then definitely in the charging stations, we also noticed that most of managers, they do like that stock is counted manually, right? So they don't have an automated way for them to basically restock, count their stock, and process their stock. And also, OEM they ship thousands of cells and never see a field reading, right? So basically, what that means is that there is no centralized management area where they can basically monitor the activities of all of their cells and batteries. And definitely, everybody's blind because nobody shares the same data. So our goal here is actually interoperability, right? So most people or most organizations, they have their own, should I say, data silos, right? So everybody, for instance, company A, they have a charging infrastructure with some batteries. They have their own data. Company B has theirs. Company C has that, right? And they are managing this data differently. So separate data silos. What we're looking at here is interoperability, right? How can we interconnect all of these parties, these stakeholders together, in such a way that the end users, who are like the riders, right, have like the flexibility to access anyone, right, based on whatever metric that they need. And then definitely, as we also understand that most operators still manually process their information via like spreadsheets, so it's not like a centralized platform. And definitely, with spreadsheets, if you lose access to a system or to some data, that's the end. So this is one of the, these are like the key problems that we are trying to address. Next page, please.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is to have like an open system. We understand that each company has a closed system, a system where bike is only working for that station is only working for the battery. So this is not a new concept. This concept has been deployed and is working in Western and developed country, in Asian continents and different continents like that. So we have the likes of Honda and other big motorcycle manufacturer who are operating the open system. There's a system of collaboration. There's partnership between them that any bike can work at any station with any battery. This system has been proven, and we've seen other companies too who are also operating this closed system, open up their system and adopting new vehicles, new OEMs, and new battery into their system. This system is also working in countries like Indians and the likes of the country. So what we're proposing is an open system, a system open to partners, a system open to OEM, a system open to fleet managers, where any bike, any station, and any battery can work together and have like a smooth connected system together. Next slide.
And definitely there are some already existing use cases for this now. I'm sure a lot of us, when we were growing up, maybe using an Android phone, you have your Type B charging ports, right? And if somebody was using like a Nokia phone, or you had a friend using an iPhone, all of you had to basically buy separate chargers to power your devices. But you can say that in recent times, policies are moving from, should I say, like they are moving from people operating independently to having a shared or open system, right? So we can use our charging ports, so Android charging points. So what was replaced was Symbian's, BlackBerry, Windows mobiles, and the result was that we were able to have about 72% global market share. A lot of devices now are using Type-C, and even other non-mobile devices are able to use Type-C. And also OCPP, what we replaced was the proprietary EV charger network, and in some climes, right, in the US and in the EU, so it's now mandatory, right, there you have to have like an open system. So that is the hardware component of it. So we are coming from the software company because at Arthurite Integrated, we are a cloud and IT first company. So we're looking for, okay, a lot of hardware systems are already moving to the open model of systems. How can we create a software that is interoperable and open? Next slide.
So we're introducing to you eSwap OS. We call it the Android of battery swapping. So what do we mean by the Android of battery swap? We understand there are different manufacturers for phone. We have Samsung, we have Technos, we have Infinix, but there's only one operating system running on them, the Android. So this eSwap OS is going to be like an operating system for battery swapping, in the sense that this OS is going to be the one powering different fleet managers, different OEMs, and different riders. So it is an ecosystem in the sense that there's a rider app, there's an admin dashboard, there's a fleet manager dashboard, there's an OEM dashboard. So OEM can see data and insights into the number of bikes on the field. The fleet manager can see insights into like the bikes on the field, the battery health, the cycle count, and also the rider can see the next available station in the next neighborhood. So this system allows partners on the network to allow like any battery on any station use on any bike. So this is just like I should have the architectural diagram first.
Yep. Architecture. Yeah. All right. So as you understand, with AWS, you're able to achieve things like redundancy, reliability, and security, right? So we're going to talk about the architecture behind this, what is powering this system.
Okay, so I'm just going to walk us through like the architectural diagram, how data flows from the cabinet, the rider's bike, the mobile app, the whole entire ecosystem. So from the bottom, the device and IoT layer, this is the layer connected to the cabinet, to the riders, to the batteries. So this device is connected to this IoT core, then IoT core takes it to the cloud. So once it gets to the cloud, we have the AI agent core layer. So this AI agent core layer is the one in charge of the data processing, can easily do route optimization to allow riders get the next available battery swap station. Then from the agent core layer, we go into the data ingestion and storage layer. This layer brings data from the battery. So every battery, in terms of, has like what we call the battery management system that has data going to the cloud. So the state of charge, the state of health, the cycle count, the temperature, and we understand that these hardwares were importing from the developed world are not designed for our own climates and infrastructure. We understand that Nigeria as a country is like a very hot region, and this system can easily adapt. Okay, a battery that has 800 cycle counts in, let's say, in a cold region, let's say like Germany, is not will perform more efficiently than a battery that has maybe 600 in Nigeria, because there's a temperature difference system there. So from the data ingestion layer, you can go to analytics and machine learning layer. This is where the system takes in data, and this data can be used to maybe finance battery, give to investors to see like, okay, for this particular period of time, the battery, there's an average use of this particular use. There's the average state of health of this particular, an average state of charge. So this system is all together and is multi-tenant in the sense that you can as well maybe not share your data with any other partner on the network. Okay, I just want my data to be personalized to my own particular company. So this architecture enables that, and that's how data flows from the cabinets to the cloud. Next slide, the demo. So I would like to walk us through the dashboard. So the platform is live, and we have it running. So this is like a dashboard for a typical fleet manager running SwapOS. So this dashboard contains the a map, so it's very big at the bottom, that has different indicators of every particular rider at every particular point in time. It has like the number of partners on the network, the stations on the network, the amount of batteries that are being tracked, daily swaps, and different KPI that are necessary and can also be customized to a particular use case. So we have also the AI and AI insights, where you can see insights into maybe the cell imbalance, the rapid capacity integration, and charging system. So your cabinet may have like anomaly in charging, or there's a rise in temperature. So this AI insight can easily detect that and flag it out. So this system is designed with intelligence in mind. So it's not just like just a dashboard, but an intelligent dashboard.
All right. So next, we're talking about the fleet. So basically, we know that a lot of companies, we have fleet managers who are basically managing
the next tab
a number of different vehicles, such as maybe different tricycles, different two-wheelers, or different cars. Right? So in the system, we also have a way for you to manage your fleet, right? So for instance, you're a logistics company, you have like, say, 50 bikes on your fleet, and each bike has like, they have their batteries, right? So you're able to basically have a way where you can manage your fleet. You know who is operating a particular bike or vehicle at a point. You know their estimated location, where they are. You know the distance from maybe your own station or other stations, right? So in this way, organizations are able to, should I say, forecast rather. They can able to forecast. Okay, during this week we can probably have about, say, 1,500 rides based on the number of vehicles that we have in our fleet. And it's also very good for budgeting, right? So they can say, okay, if we are doing 1,500 rides per week, if we want to increase our capacity, right? So how are we going to do this? So that's what the fleet manager section of it does. So we can click on it, fleets. Good. So as I was saying, you can manage down to the rider, actually. So you see the rider, the status of the rider, the percentage of the battery. You understand, okay, this particular rider, where is he at the moment? How many percent is the battery? You can also estimate how long it's going to take before the battery dies, and you can also estimate their location. And it has a last scene. If you click on each person there, you're able to have more details about them. So you can just click on the first rider there.
Any item on the system. A rider.
Yeah, click on maybe Adebayo. Yeah, you click on it. Good. So once you click on the rider, you have access to their mobile information. So we can't display any sensitive data here because this is actually being operated by a particular fleet manager, so we can't expose the details. So some things are removed, but you can see you have the riders' details, their battery percentage, and you can even see how many swaps have been completed and the distance that has been covered by that particular rider. So this is very, 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 should I say, this data is very important for a lot of organizations. It's like as I said, it's a one-place solution, a turnkey solution where all your data essentially regarding your fleet, your business, your operations are being managed, right? So let's go to the next tab, talking about stations. So basically the stations, as fleet managers, you can have different stations, right? Maybe you have a charging station on the island, on the mainland, different stations. You can basically manage your stations even down to the slots in each station. So each charging gun, you can manage them. So from here, you can see this particular fleet manager has about 7 stations. And each station, we can monitor them. We know where they are. We know how many slots are available there. We know the capacity of each slot. And it's also very good for stations that are also running off the grid, right? So we have some, from our work, our research, we've seen that some stations actually are completely off the grid. So they are being powered by renewable energy, solar, and different things. So you're also able to see insights into all of those things here. If you can click on each slot now, click on the first slot.
Let's move on.
Yeah, the slot 1.
You can't see the screen.
Okay,
Just,
all right.
Let's go to the next tab. Batteries. Click anywhere on the screen.
Okay, so yes, so talk about batteries now.
So we have some other additional features. So there's a tab for batteries where you can easily manage the battery health and life cycles. So right from when the battery is being registered to the end of life of the battery. So if the battery comes in, the current state of charge, the current state of health, the temperature, and everything. So this each battery is being monitored by the AI in the system. So it can easily detect, okay, this battery needs attention, it's not performing well. This battery has some anomalies. This battery is not healthy. This is the amount of battery that are healthy at any particular point in time. You can also like forecast like replacements in the sense that, okay, this amount of battery at this particular station would probably finish or would be degraded at this point in time. So you probably need to restock those battery. So next tab. So we have the energy tab where you can easily manage the energy resources on how you're charging the whole station. So we understand that we have the grid system and also we have the solar system. So each, whether you're using the grid system, you can easily use that, okay, at this particular point in time, maybe 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., that's when we have majority of sunlight. So I would only use solar at that point in time. Or there's going to be need for battery at this particular hour of the day, maybe towards night on a weekend or whatever. It's going to predict that and also say, okay, I need to save this particular amount of battery for this period. Next tab. So you can also manage cabinets. So there are different things you can manage. So there's you can manage different cabinets. Okay, this battery is overheating, so I'll probably need to stop charging this battery because it's overheating. And okay, this battery is low at this particular point in time. I need to charge this battery, and these batteries are already full, so I need to stop discharging. So this system is connected to AWS Cloud, connected to the fleet manager's dashboard, where you can easily see insights into, okay, these are the batteries that are already charged, these are the batteries that are charging, and these are the batteries that are stopped charging because of temperature. So
okay. Talk about it. All right. So, with every, should I say, product or solution, the economics has to make sense, right? The financials have to make sense. And for a lot of operators, right, we've seen that their finance team has to sort of manage the data right, that they get, should I say, indirectly from their riders or from the other admin staff. But in this particular solution, there's a dedicated tab where you can manage all your finances. So basically, you can see your monthly revenue, you can see the revenue you are getting per swap depending on whatever value that you have set. So for instance, if you are maybe charging about 500 naira to 1,000 naira per swap, and then you're able to complete, say, 2,000 swaps in a month, it's automatic, it gets uploaded in the revenue and billing session. You can also see your active subscribers. So the way the model has been set is that some particular riders can decide, okay, for my vehicle, I prefer to use this particular station for my charging or for swapping. So they can basically subscribe to be like, I don't want to say like a member, but like subscribe to your station. And for you as a fleet manager, you can manage all of that there. You can see your gross margin. So you can see your revenue breakdown. So we do weekly breakdown, daily breakdown, monthly subscriptions. You can also able to, even if you are working with other operators, right? So as I said, our game here is interoperability, right? So we even allow different operators even work together to manage their finances. So if you're working with other operators and there's kind of some revenue splitting that has to be done, it can also be done on the platform. If you sit down, you can see the revenue splits section between different operators there. And you can also see some graphics showing your weekly revenue per day. And yes, so this is the operator revenue that I was talking about. And then for the subscriptions, yeah, so this is the part where you can manage the subscriptions based on the tiers, right? Next slide, please. Next tab. Operators, yeah. Good. So, operational management, as Ayobami was trying to explain, right? So it's a multi-tenant system, right? So basically, everybody owns their own data. You understand? And you own, you own all the access to your data, and you own, to an extent, how much of your data can be shared across the system. Okay, so for instance, in this operational management dashboard now, so we can see the different operators, right? So this particular fleet manager has different operators working under them. You can see there's Max Go Logistics, Rewind Delivery. So these are like smaller businesses, right, that have plugged in to this particular operator to be able to use their infrastructure. So they're able to manage other smaller businesses that really have to utilize their services. So that's what this operator management part talks about. Then we'll talk about the trust, which is our security layer.
Okay, so trust. So another feature or another important feature is the battery passport. So what does the battery passport mean? So the battery passport is like a system that is already in place in regions like EU and the US. So this battery passport is a immutable ledger where every battery has a tracking system where you can track from when it was being bought to the last time it's going to be used. So this system or this passport contains things like the state of health, the cycle counts, the pool management, cross operator settlement, and different things like that. The important KPIs that even when you are trying to sell the battery for secondary markets, you can use this data as a basis of selling. So okay, I've only used this battery for this amount of time. This is the cycle count. This is the highest temperature it has gone before. This is like okay, the system. So this battery passport allows maybe investors, banks to as well maybe invest in batteries to see better insight into what they are actually financing. So this battery passport is let's go back to the slide. So this battery passport, every battery carries it. So it's a digital life cycle record. So in the regions like EU, it's already mandatory as from February 18, 2027. So any operator that comes into the network would have this system is going to be produced automatically for that battery in that system. And there are different ways of measuring. We have different tiers like a grade A battery, a grade B battery, down to grade F. So, and at every instances of maybe swap, you can easily verify like, okay, this is the current state of health of this battery at every time the rider is swapping the battery. So there's an open system and a system that is completely transparent. So you can easily have like a closed or an hybrid approach to if you want. So that's what the battery passport is.
Next slide. Okay, yes. the system has been tested, right? We've worked with some local fleets managers, and we have deployed the system online. So, but we are also very open to founding partners, and because as I said earlier, it's our game here is interoperability. We're trying to get as many partners in as possible. So, if you scan this QR code now, it's going to take you to a form where it's not a long form at all, just 3 questions. You scan a code and you would just put in some information. We'll reach out to you after this session to have a conversation with you. So either if you're managing a particular brand or a fleet or a company, right, and you really love to integrate into our system, you can just go ahead, take a picture, scan this QR code now, take it to a form. And we, as I said earlier, our game here is the open system, right? The world is moving away from different people just managing their data or managing their networks locally. So having an interconnected system, which is what we are trying to solve here. All right. Next slide.
So basically what you're saying is that, okay, you may be operating a particular fleet. Maybe your operation is on an island, and there's a need for your riders to go to the mainland, and you don't have a swap station at that particular place. You can easily swap your battery at that particular partner's network. So it's an open system, a system where everybody is helping each other, a system where we can easily increase the adoption of EV in Nigeria and in Africa at large.
All right. Next page. Yeah, so something that we also want to talk about, no, still display it, still show it. So something that we also want to talk about is, I'm very sure that a lot of people here, a lot of companies here are definitely forward thinking. So I can see a lot of companies, EV vehicles being displayed here, but there are still some people here that might probably have some doubts, right? So you're a company, you probably run a logistics business, you have a fleet of bikes, vehicles, whatever you have. And to you, it doesn't make sense to just switch from using internal combustion engines to EVs. So we have simplified that process. We've created a very simple application that you can use to, should I say, estimate or budget your spend if you were to move from internal combustion engines to renewable sources of energy like EV vehicles. So basically, and for instance now, so we have a scenario here. So imagine you're a fleet manager, you run a logistics business, you do deliveries or something, and you have about 20 bikes or Okadas, right? And each bike covers an average distance of about 80 kilometers per day, right? And then putting the average price of fuel, in different parts of the country, we have different prices based on the distance from the depot and stuff like that. So, the average cost of petrol, and then we also did an estimation with Swap OS, and we can see that for a regular fleet manager, that uses internal combustion engines, they spend about 1.6 million naira per month just on fuel alone, right? But using our operating system, Swap OS, we did the maths and we saw that spending a maximum of about 300,000 naira per month, right? So, and if you look at the cost savings, yearly you'll be saving about 60 million naira per year. So that's the capabilities that we have on our Swap OS. So basically, we are just trying to encourage you, right? So as forward-thinking people that you should be, right? Try to, phase out your movement away from internal combustion engines. You understand that it's very, it's very capital intensive, especially for the first few parts, right? Getting the vehicles or the new vehicles, because most of them have to be new. So it can be very capital intensive. But if you do the math, you'll see that at the end of the day, you're actually saving money, right? And there's a QR code for the calculator. So in case you want to do something like this, you can just take a picture. You want to see, doesn't even have to be a fleet. If it's just your personal vehicle, you want to say, oh, I'm driving, maybe I have a Honda or a Toyota, and I spend like, say, 100,000 naira per week on fuel because I live on the mainland, I work on the island, and you want to say, oh, if I should get an EV, how much would I be saving, right, based on this? So you can scan this. It's going to take you to the calculator where you can work on all of that. So because at the end, the economics has to make sense, right? The world, everybody's saying renewable sources of energy, green energy, but for a regular person, an average person, to you, do I have the money for that? And okay, even if I have the money, can I estimate how much I would be spending monthly, daily, right? If I get this particular vehicle or two-wheeler, what does it look like from in terms of economics? So that's why we have this particular solution deployed. So you you can just take a picture and scan the QR code for that.
Okay, so the next thing we'll be talking about, or the next solution.
Next slide.
Yeah, next slide is Olympus Vision, and that will be led by Mr. Okonde.
Okay. So we've been talking about your money since, right? Now we're talking about how to protect your assets that you have on site, right? What most of the people do is they have a CCTV, and this CCTV, they have a DVR or NVR connected through the networking stores, and they view all the footages on the NVR. They might have someone to monitor it, but most of the time, they just review it at the end of the day. So next slide. So it's not in real time. When an incident occurs, you don't see it in real time. You don't get notified in real time. What you just do is after the incident has occurred, right? Then you now go through the footages to see what happened at what time. So that's why we are building Olympus Vision to stop incidents at its time, right? We have two layers. We have the edge AI and we have the cloud AI. So this takes away your DVR or NVR and we only connect to your camera. So the setup is that, okay, we have your camera, your IP cameras, and then we connect an edge device, which is a Raspberry Pi or an ESP32 to it, and then we have a local model on it. And this local model is configured to detect a lot of things, maybe to recognize faces, to detect motion
and objects. And also objects, because we know that definitely some of the people that perpetrate these bad things, they probably come with things like guns or different, things to harm you. So we're moving away from a reactive, should I say reactive system to a proactive system. In the sense that, okay, if someone wants to come and, God forbid, someone wants to come and rob your house or your fleet or your office or something, right? So most times the robbery would have happened, then you'd come back the next day, okay, let's review the CCTV footage. Okay, these were the people that came in, you take a video, post it on Instagram, Instablog Nigeria. Please help us identify these people. But now we're trying to say, let's move away from being a reactive system to a proactive system. So, I mean, there's a lot of services online, AI services that can detect things, right? Detect objects, faces. So those are the models that have been deployed. So your camera itself would send the video footage, right? So in real time, we can detect something before it happens. So if somebody comes there and we are saying, oh, someone comes to your facility around 11 p.m. at night and they are wearing a ski mask or they are holding, should I say, a gun. So you know that this is like a precursor to something bad happening. So we have alert systems in place that's just going to alert everybody immediately. Something's about to happen, and then your system picks it up. People can be deployed immediately. So maybe you can call the local police network or wherever, right? So that's what the system basically does.
Yes. So apart from the AI that is running locally on Raspberry Pi, we also have the AWS recognition and SageMaker in the sense that we have AWS Kinesis library installed on the Raspberry Pi, which sends the footage to AWS, to the cloud. And then we have AWS recognition that recognizes faces, patterns, etc. objects, and also send notification to your phone in real time. So let's go to the next slide.
Next slide.
So we have the architectural diagram where we have, can you make the architectural diagram bigger? Go to the left. Use 3 hands.
Like swipe.
Swipe to the left. Yes. So we have the CCTV camera that is connected to the Raspberry Pi, and then we have our CI/CD, our everything set up. So from this CCTV camera, it's connected to the Raspberry Pi where we have the local model, and then we have the GStreamer, which is a library for AWS Kinesis. So this Raspberry Pi sends the footage to AWS Kinesis, which then sends it to all our services here. And then we'll have the database, we'll have the Lambda, and then we'll have This is recognition.
So face detection. So
Yes.
when there's an unknown face at your location, this AWS service will allow to easily detect this face. Oh, an unknown face is detected at a swap station, an unknown face is detected at a charging station. You can easily get these faces, scan through databases that are public, and easily even get information of these people online. Maybe there are social media handles, there are this thing to track them easily. So this is not like a reactive system, but a proactive system. A system that is intelligent. Next slide.
Next slide. This slide.
No. Like this.
Yeah, next slide. Yes. So and it's even now maybe cheaper than the original setup where we buy NVR or DVR to connect our cameras, because it takes away DVR and NVR and we only have the Raspberry Pi that is installed, and then you only pay as you go on the cloud. So we are trying to have some sort of systems whereby, but the one that we are trying to look at is the pay as you go, whereby you only pay for what you use per month. So if you have 10 gigabytes of data saved per month, you only pay for that at the end of the month. And then it is built on AWS, and we all know that AWS is very secured. It has 11 nines of security, and it is trusted by everyone around the world. So this Olympus Vision, I'm very, very sure it will definitely replace the old setup that we have with CCTV protection.
Next slide.
So you already have a camera, right? And you have your NVR. We take it away. You can reach out to us to test this Olympus Vision out. We set up the Raspberry Pi for you. You pick a station, we set up the Raspberry Pi, we give you the login, and then you can test it out for a month and see if it's something that you can adopt.
Next slide.
All right. I think that will be all. Thank you so much. So at Arthurite Integrated, as I said, we are a cloud and IT first company. And these are just some of the solutions that we have built in-house. There are other several solutions that we have. But in terms of relevance to this particular event, these are some of the solutions we decided to come and talk about, right? So if you see anybody with this particular shirt or this hoodie, yes, or this tag, you can just come to meet any of us. We are very happy to talk to you, understand your business. If you have a unique use case, you want us to build something for, we're very happy to do that. We have a big team of developers, software engineers, product managers, anything, ML engineers, so right. So, and again, we'd like to thank all of our guests and all our esteemed panelists and speakers. I think we're moving on now to the next section. But before we do that, do you have any questions, right? We're ready to take any questions regarding this presentation in the next maybe 5 minutes. So if you have any questions regarding any of the solutions we talked about, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So my question is actually regarding the ecosystem we have in Nigeria. You know, as per Olympus Vision is providing real-time, CCTV surveillance, using the cloud. But then one thing that really completes it is the fact that the local police force can respond on time. So, and also, this is also leading me to a question that I've had from the start of the, meeting. What's AI? What's Arthurite Integrated? What's Arthurite Integrated proposing? To connect with the existing security forces that we have around. So that because if you look at areas like Lagos now, for example, Lagos have, we can say like the security force in Lagos is very okay compared to other areas. So how does Arthurite Integrated look at these other areas and regions so that the Olympus Vision can get to them? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is a very beautiful question. Okay, do you want me to answer that now? Okay, yeah, thank you. So yes, very beautiful question. Security was when we were building Olympus Vision, right? Security was like definitely should I say, that was like the main or the driving goal, right? And what you have said was something that was already integrated into the system. So if you check the architecture diagram, there are some AWS services. So we have Amazon SCS and SNS, so simple notification service and simple email service. So they are sending live data. So once anything is detected, right? So we already have the details, right, of the police stations. They have their numbers on the app. So we have a front end application, right? So you as the operator, as the manager of your facility, are going to get a notification immediately, and an automated phone call together with an email and an SMS that, oh, an unusual activity has been detected on your system. And then it also calls the local authorities immediately, right? So it calls them immediately and then tells you to follow up, right? Because the system is very intelligent now, but it also needs the humans, like you as a manager, you need to also follow up with the case, right? So it's going to call the local authorities that, oh, this particular station or this particular building has been compromised, detected an unusual activity, right? So because we have some of your details, can also your details are also channeled to the local authorities such that they even have your details before you call them, right? So that is inbuilt already into the system. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes. So we're also trying to do a hardware replacement, right? Or let's say build something on top of the alert layer, right? Such that to have an hardware connected to the system, whereby when it detects an unusual activity, it rings the alarm. We have an on-site alarm. So that's another layer on top of so it just alerts the neighborhood and they know that something is happening at this place. Maybe your security man is also there, is also around, but they have bypassed your security man to your system. Then the CCTV catches them, right? It triggers the alarm and also sends a notification to you on your phone.
Please, we are going to be taking 2 more questions only. We'll take question from him and then him when he's done.
Thank you very much. Well, I think this vision also applies to personal owners of vehicles. Like, aside from the commercial owners, like, does this vision also does it measure the distance of the distance traveled based on the battery level? Like, I'm going to an area where I won't be able to swap my battery and I don't have enough resources to swap at my particular point. Like, I'm traveling to a particular area, would it give me the direction, the limits to direction based on the percentage of the battery?
Okay, so this is a question about the eSwap OS. So, like I said, it's an ecosystem in the sense that there's a rider app. The rider has a app that is connected to the cloud. So the cloud is the central nervous system. It's like the brain connecting everything together. So the rider has what we call the route optimization system in place that can see the next available station and the amount of time is going to get to that station and if the battery is going to get them on time. So this feature has been implemented and is working on the mobile app, on the riders app. So the riders can see, okay, I have this battery, I have this particular kilometer left on this battery. The next available station is this particular kilometer. Can my bike get me there? Can it not get me there? So you can easily see all these details and all this thing is already implemented as a feature on the mobile app.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
From what I understood, it's a software-based company.
Yes.
And one thing with software is this compatibility matters. Why I say compatibility matters is I've seen some electric cars where some kind of Teslas, you can't charge with our ports. So does the app help in such cases? For instance, I'm driving a Tesla and we have multiple charging stations here. Their ports don't match my car. Can such things be shown on the app? And then as a company, do you really have a place where you build stops for such hardware compatibilities? Because I saw online somewhere where someone had a Tesla, but he has an adapter that can make him work with a Chademo or a Menenkis, something like that.
Okay, so when a technology is new, we have different manufacturer producing different compatibility standard, and if the technology has been proven and tested, the policies maker, who are the government and the bodies, create policies and standards that allows an open system in compatibility and standardization. And this is already like, there's a proven system already in the EV cars. You have the OCPP protocol that allows any charge station to drive with to charge with a particular vehicle that is working on that particular protocol. So the system is like I said, Swapwest is a software company, and what we're promoting is an open system, a system where every partner has to agree on a particular standard, a particular protocol that everybody is going to be running on. So do you want to?
Yeah. All right. So yes. Well, so okay. Yeah. So about the OCPP thing, that's a policy, right? And we know with policy and policies, adoption might be a barrier. Right? But to be more pragmatic or more practical, with the question that you asked, right? Okay, different vehicles or different models for charging stations. Yes. On the application, right? So it's just we can't show the demo for the end users app, right? So, because on the user's application, there's a part where your vehicle, right? So depending if it's a bike or it's like a regular vehicle, where we know the model of your vehicle. So under your app, you know what particular charging stations or particular charging guns is compatible to your own vehicle. Do you understand? So that's provisioned already. Understand? We know that we are moving towards like a more open system, as I said, the OCCP and the policies, right? But we know that what is more obtainable here, everybody wants to know, okay, my own vehicle, where can I charge it? Which particular company has their own charging station? So you as an end user on your own app, you can see all of that on your own app. Yeah.
So, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is MC Elizabeth. Talking about the batteries, because I am in particular about the partnership and how you can monetize things. And I was actually thinking for the battery, if there is an avenue for employment for people like a middleman salesperson, where they can actually get these batteries to their sites, and in any location any vehicle is, they can easily connect with people. For example, I don't want to mention name of brands, but they can actually place order for what they need, and they can get it in a particular location, like the battery. And also for the insecurity, and I'm concerned about, I'm kind of thinking of this car like a phone, like a mobile phone. And for example, an iPhone with an iCloud. And these days, in some areas in this country, we see where people can be able to remove iCloud from the phone when they steal it. So in cases whereby the vehicle can be stolen, can things like this occur to the car, whereby they can enter that function and disarm everything, whereby you won't be able to know anything? Thank you.
Okay, so that was a team one. I would answer the first one. Okay, so the first one talking about, I think that sounds more like an e-commerce part where maybe people can order for batteries if a particular company maybe is
franchising.
Yeah,
franchising.
Like franchising. Okay, yes. It's not a feature that is ready here, but something that can be added. What we do have, anyways, is for, as I said, we have like SMBs, right? So as a large fleet operator, SMBs, maybe for instance, a regular person that just has like 5 electric bikes and he runs a small logistics operation, maybe he does deliveries, they can plug into a larger fleet manager, right? So if you go to the operators part, okay, yeah, good. So operators part, so we can see that the fleet manager, right, is the person that has like a lot of vehicles, right? But he can basically, I'll say, outsource, maybe provision a few vehicles for a local, someone who does business locally. Okay, I need 5 bikes, right, to use to run my business. So for instance, you can see on this person's dashboard, there are about 5 other smaller businesses that have plugged into the fleet manager. You can see there's a Max Go Logistics, Green Ride Delivery. So these are like local businesses that run logistics operations, but they have plugged into a larger fleet manager. So in that case, the fleet manager is making his own money, right? So there's a profit splitting agreement or formula that is in place. So basically, and it's very transparent. So there's no like backdoor. Everything is very transparent. So in terms of, I think that first question you asked, this is what we have available, right? But then for franchising or for direct sales of batteries, right? It's not available yet. It's something that we can add as a feature, right? After we do more market research, right? So, and then your second question.
The second question was about security, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to mention that the app is deployed and built on AWS Cloud, and AWS Cloud powers about 70% of the internet softwares, and is very secure. It has gone through cyber security tests. Different government agencies and government bodies have tested it, and it is trusted. It has high availability, very secure, multi-layer security from the edge layer down to the cloud layer, and everything is on the cloud, very secure. Do you want to continue?
Yeah. All right. So I think so done. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Last question.
Okay, for the benefit of doubt, we already done with questions.
Okay, I'm sorry to be just coming
Display
off my
the QR
question
code.
now. I'm going
QR
to make it
code.
very fast. Good morning. So you guys more or less like provide the back end. We are into financing and power generation. So basically, what we do is to provide the power using CNG for people that want to set up large charging stations. So I'm looking at, is there a possibility of partnership with Arthurite via your platform for fleet operators that already have everything inbuilt in the house, but probably they're looking to plug in because you have a larger fleet of, EV charging stations, so that the vehicles within their own fleet can then take advantage of the other charging stations within your network. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, very beautiful question. The short answer is yes. So that's what we're looking for, partnerships. We want more players in the ecosystem to join our, should I say, open source layer, right? So as I said, our game here is interoperability, right? We're trying to get as many stakeholders as possible. So definitely we're very open to partnerships. Very open for fleet operators, charging stations, OEMs, dock stations, anything. We're very open to partnerships. Yeah.
So any battery, any station, on any bike.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Arthurite team. That was very wonderful. That was wonderful. So I hope we learned a lot from the demo. There were a lot of technological things going on. I was lost at some point, but I did grab one or two I'm going home with. So well done, guys. And then we're going to be moving on to the next session. For the want of time, we're going to be rushing. We're going to have the CEO of Arthurite Integrated Service come on stage. We have Mr. Somti. We've been waiting for him. So can we give a round of applause as we welcome Mr. Somti on stage? We can do better, please.
So I'll read his bio as he comes up on stage. Engineer Somto Chukwu Ezepue is the founder and CEO of Arthurite Integrated Services Limited, an AWS advanced partner and one of Africa's leading cloud technology and AI-driven digital transformation companies. A seasoned engineer, technology entrepreneur, and supply chain professional, he has played a pivotal role in advancing digital transformation across Africa since 2016. Under his leadership, Arthurite has evolved into a multi-country technology organization, delivering innovative solutions across government, enterprise, education, healthcare, logistics, financial services, and other critical sectors. A strong advocate for cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and digital inclusion, Somto Chukwu has led the development of transformative platforms such as Greenit app, Checkout, Genie, Taravan Central, Vote Experts, BAS or BAS, report apps, and several enterprise solutions that continue to drive efficiency, innovation, and growth across the continent. Passionate about talent development, he has contributed to the training and empowerment of over 3,000 young Africans in cloud computing, digital skills, and emerging technologies. Please, a round of applause as I read. And emerging technologies, helping to bridge Africa's technology skills gap. Drawing on his expertise on engineering, project management, procurement, and supply chain management, he is currently leading initiatives to accelerate electric vehicle adoption in Africa through next generation battery swapping infrastructure designed to transform mobility, logistics, and sustainable transportation. Today, Arthurite operates across Lagos, Abuja, Ilorin, Accra, and London, with ongoing expansion across the EMEA region. Somtochukwu is widely recognized for his commitment to innovation, youth empowerment, and leveraging cloud and AI technologies to drive Africa's economic growth and global competitiveness. With a louder round of applause, please welcome Dr. Engineer Somtochukwu. Sorry.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. A round of applause for yourself for being here. I'm so happy to have everybody here in the room. I would like to also welcome you to our event, One with AI. Arthurite is very happy, with the turnout of the event. It's an event that we have been planning towards from the beginning of the year. You can see it brings together a lot of, valued people that are on the EV value chain in the room. We have, builders, we have experts, we have policymakers, we have stakeholders, we have OEMs, we have fleet managers, we have a lot of people here in the room, and also young people. And I would like to thank you all for coming today. I would also like to thank our partners that took out their time, to be here today, brought their products, and also listen to our pitch, because it's one thing to listen to someone's speech, it's another thing to show up. I also like to thank the speakers that have spoken, the keynote speakers. I will also thank their organizations, their agencies, government agencies that are here. I would also like to thank the panelists that are here, looking and brimming to deliver information for us today. And I also like to thank our team, that made it possible, that put together such a beautiful event. This event is one that you should not, allow to, you should take advantage of. It's an opportunity that we bring together all these people in their room, in the same room, for you to speak with, for you to collaborate with, for you to ask questions, for you to take care of opportunities. Finance people are here, as you see. We have some banks here too. So we also understand that EV is not just about, the software side, there's also the infrastructure side, and at the same time, very important, there's the money side. So while we are building, we're also thinking of, the entire value chain. And I would like you to take advantage of it. Everybody in this room here is here at an opportune time. So please don't miss this opportunity. I'd like you to take time, talk to people, navigate, ask questions. There's no question that is wrong, and we are looking forward to building for the future. Technology is something that is continuously changing. As you see, the AI that you knew, maybe that started with ChatGPT, you now have cloud, you now have a lot of things that are coming up. But one thing that you should understand is that it is not something that will, that is taking, our jobs. It's not something that is going to take. It's something that we should embrace, master, and at the same time control. So, not to bore you further, I also like to thank, very important, our partners, AWS, that also give us the power to continue doing what we are doing here. I'd like to thank their representative, Barry, that is here, and thank her for her support, amongst other things. So, to cut the long story short, I would like you all to stand up and do one thing for me, please. If we all be on our feet. I know I'm noticing that some people are sleeping. If we all be on our feet, a round of applause for yourself. And one thing, before we move to the panel session, please, let's just take time and go around and experience each of the booths first before we can now come back. Let's do like that in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Experience our booths, ask questions, listen to our partners that are around, and we'll come back for the panel session. Thank you so much.
So please take your time to move around, go to each of the booths, explore what they have for us. We are going to be resuming at exactly 1:30. No, no.
No, no, not start coming to like in 5 minutes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are resuming the session in 5 minutes. Please, can we round up our exhibition and get back to our seats? We would have a lot of time after the event to have a look and network. Please, can we start coming back to our seats? We are starting in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please get back to our seats? We are resuming the next session in a jiffy. Please, can we get back to our seats?
30 seconds, everybody figures the student. I think his time is ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 30 seconds, can we get back to our seats, please?
Let's start the countdown. Listen to the countdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 30 seconds, can we get back to our seats? We're going to have a lot of time after the event to network. We are starting in 30, 29, 28. I'm not seeing people going back to their seats. 27. We are starting in 26, 25, 24, 23. Awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get back to our seats? Thank you for complying. We are starting 21. We are starting in 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15.
People are really enjoying themselves looking through the exhibitions.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we get back to our seats? We are starting in 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, Ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 seconds to get back to our seats, please.
So I will not be this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Does Arthurite have police, please? Please, I need assistance. We are starting the panel session, so we can just start and then I think everything is going to normalize. So you're going to be the one too.
Okay. Okay, please, let's get back to our seats, please. Let's get back to our seats, please. Please, if you are still standing, the panel session is about to start. Let's get back to our seats. Thank you very much. Yes, the panel session is about to start. The topic of the panel session is driving Nigeria's electric future, policy frameworks, investment opportunities, infrastructure development, and the road to market readiness. Are you guys excited for this panel session? Are you excited? I can't hear your voices. Are you excited?
Yes, we are.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I'll be calling on the speakers to come on stage as we start the panel session. The first panelist for this session is Engineer Dapo Adeshino, the president of EMPAN. Please give him a round of applause as I read his bio and as he comes on stage. Engineer Dapo Adeshino is a visionary sustainable energy expert, project management professional, and the president of the Electric Mobility Promoters Association of Nigeria, EMPAN. With over 20 years of experience spanning the energy, infrastructure, and construction sectors, he is a leading voice in Nigeria's green transition. Engineer Adeshino specializes in sustainable transport, e-mobility infrastructure, and hydrogen initiatives. He serves as the Vice Chairman of the National Technical Committee on Electric Mobility for the Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, and used to work with GOPA International Energy Consultants. While with GOPA, he worked in a team that pioneered the World Bank study on sustainable green e-mobility solutions for Nigeria. Please
give it up for Engineer Adeshino. We can do better. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir. So let's meet our next panelist, Bola Fayam, President, Co-founder, and Chief of Engineering, Orbit Electric, EMPAN. Please, a round of applause as I read his bio. A round of applause, please, as he gets on stage, please. Thank you very much. Bola Fayam is a forward-thinking entrepreneur, executive leader, and a strategic driving force behind Orbit Electric Automobile Limited, a pioneering clean technology expertise in Nigeria. With deep technical acumen and a passion for industrial sustainability, Engineer Fayam is at the cutting edge of the African green mobility transition. His work focuses on integrating electric vehicle EV solutions, sustainable transport infrastructure, and innovative engineering systems tailored for local dynamics. A highly analytical professional and a collaborative ecosystem builder, he continues to champion eco-friendly mass transit alternatives, technological independence, and localized manufacturing frameworks to reshape the future of urban transportation across sub-Saharan Africa. Please, with another round of applause, let's welcome Bola Fayam. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Yes, so our next panelist is Ahmed Damsida, Principal Founder, Faiti Technologies. A round of applause for him, please, as he gets on the stage and as I read his bio.
Please change the.
Please, the bio is wrong.
No.
No. Ahmed and Damsida. Ahmed.
No, it's a little. No.
Okay, we are really sorry about that. Let's move on to the next panelist, Engineer Adigun Ibrahim, Chairman NYCN Lagos State Chapter. Please give him another round of applause as he comes on stage. Thank you very much. Can see his people are here. Engineer Adigun Ibrahim Olalekon, MNSC Koren, is a computer engineer, technology consultant, youth development strategist, and a public policy advocate with a distinguished record of leveraging technology for governance, youth empowerment, and economic development. He currently serves as the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, NYCN, Lagos State Chapter, and chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. Across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, providing leadership to the largest youth umbrella body in Nigeria. A graduate of electronics and computer engineering and holder of a master's degree in electrical and electronics engineering from Lagos State University, Engineer Adigun has built a career at the intersection of technology, leadership, governance, and innovation. As an accomplished ICT consultant, he has led the development and deployment of several technology-driven solutions that are currently enhancing governance processes, public administration, and service delivery across Lagos and Ogun states. His work focuses on harnessing digital innovation to improve efficiency, transparency, citizen engagement, and international effectiveness. Beyond his professional accomplishments, he serves as a board member of the Lagos State Sports Trust Fund and vice chairman of the Technical Working Group on Technology Facilitated Sexual and Gender-Based Violence under the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, where he contributes to policy development and multi-stakeholder initiatives that advance social impact. Recognized for his transformative leadership, Engineer Adigun has spearheaded numerous youth-focused interventions, innovation-driven programs, and strategic partnerships that have positioned NYCN Lagos as a benchmark for youth leadership and development across Nigeria, earning him recognition as one of the country's most impactful youth leaders. A current certified engineer, corporate member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSC, member of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer, IEEE, an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Local Government and Public Administration of Nigeria, CILGIPAN. Engineer Adigun remains passionate about advancing digital transformation, emerging technologies, innovation ecosystems, and opportunities that empower young people to thrive in the fourth industrial revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, please, another round of applause for Engineer Adigun Ibrahim. Yes, and for our final speaker with whom we didn't introduce properly before, Ahmad Damsida, founder and principal at Faiti Technology Limited. Ahmad Damsida is an accomplished energy industry executive, project developer, and the chief executive officer of Energy Culture Limited. He also serves as the founder and principal of Faulty Technologies Limited, an innovative venture driving zero carbon energy, transportation, and technology solutions across Nigeria. With over 2 decades of robust experience, Mr. Damsida specializes in high-impact infrastructure development, spanning energy facilities, mining, projects, finance, and commodities trading. Please, a round of applause. If you want to clap, clap well. An alumnus of Harvard Business School, his professional footprint includes strategic collaborations with elite global bodies, including the Center for Global Energy Studies, UK. A highly sought-after industry analyst, he frequently provides expert commentary on Channels Television and Arise News regarding economic integration and the role of energy sector in Africa industrialization. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's give them a round of applause. Please, let's give a round of applause to all our panelists, and let us give a round of applause too for Diogo, who will be anchoring this session. Thank you.
I deserve a round of applause. Yeah, I do. Okay. Well done, sirs. Okay. So, Mr. Engineer Additional, please can you come towards this side so we can be even. Yeah, thank you everyone, and welcome once again, SARS, for honoring this panel. We're going to be going straight to the question, and our first question is going to start with you, Engineer Additional. Okay, as the president of Electric Mobility Promoters Association of Nigeria and vice chairman of the SON National Technical Committee on Electric Mobility, what standards or regulations are still missing in Nigerians' EV space, and in what order should we be pushing for them?
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me here. So I represent the Electric Mobility Promoters Association of Nigeria, where I serve as the president, and by extension, the national vice chairman for the National Technical Committee on Electric Mobility Standards in Nigeria. Yeah, so talking about the standards, we got to work, we started work with SON, the Standards Organization of Nigeria, based on the stakeholders' request, because the ecosystem was growing in the electric mobility, and then we needed a direction. Where are the standards? What is right for our own climate in Nigeria? And so we reached out, and then we started work mid of last year, close to like a year now. And so we had partnership, and I've had an understanding that there has to be standards that we need. So that was born out of our major objective to do partnership, collaboration, partnership, policy advocacy with government agencies to make sure that the ecosystem grows. And so in the past 8 months, we've started working on some standards. So last week we had what we call the adoption of some of those standards. We have a number of them, 35 standards across the ecosystem. So from the charging infrastructure to the battery, to the customer, to the safety and guidelines, which we have worked on. So a total number of them, 35 of them. And so when we talk in terms of standards here, there are global standards that do exist. So we have the ISO standards, we have the IEC standards. So what we are basically doing is to do adoption of standards. So we are adopting some of those to suit what is our climate, what our climate can take. So for instance, we are a temperate region where we have a high temperature. So those in Europe and some other part, they have very low temperature. So when you do look at standards, look at the temperature that suits our climate, look at every other parameter. So we are working on those standards, and it's still work in progress. And so we have gone past that stage of adoption. So the next stage right now is to the recommendations being made to the board of the SON, where they will sit, and then they have some talks to adopt, and then it becomes a standard. So the technical work, the groundwork has been carried out based on the input from all stakeholders across the ecosystem. So we have the likes of the government agency from NADDC to NEMSA, and Electricity Management Service Agency. We have the private sector that are actually driving, because the private sector is actually driving the e-mobility sector in Nigeria, putting in funds, putting in innovations and all of that. And so in few weeks from now, we should have ready standards that guides the administration of electric mobility systems in Nigeria. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Engineer Additional. So it means that a lot of works are currently going on in terms of e-mobility systems in Nigeria.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that excellent answer. So our next question is going to be going to Mr. Bola Fayam. Oh, Bala. Oh, sorry, sir. So we are going to be asking Mr. Bala, what does building an EV for Nigerian roads, what does it actually demand that is what does building an EV for Nigerian roads actually demand that off-the-shelf important designs miss? So where do you think that we have to redesign?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, so you finally got the name right. It's Bala. Yes, it's another name. Okay. I think one of the main problems, like he has stated, is temperature, right? Most of the batteries, like at Orbit Electric, we've had, multiple cases of, some batteries heating up and all that, right? So we're having to redesign currently a proper ventilation system, right, for the lithium cells, right, to make sure that they are not probably just enclosed the way the batteries come usually from China or something. They're usually just enclosed, right? We're already considering and redesigning the case of the battery to have a separate ventilation system. Secondly, Lagos specifically, water, flood, right? We've had, multiple cases of the batteries being flooded, and we know that lithium is not, a friend to, water or electricity generally, right? So we're having to also redesign that to reposition some key components, probably elevate some key components to make sure that, they are at least, a few centimeters or meters above water level, right? Thirdly, sorry, but mostly electric vehicles are a key part of the electric vehicle is the battery. So most of the problems we've had has been battery, right? Thirdly, Nigerian roads. China has smooth roads, so you can just, drive for 200 kilometers and you're fine, right? But any kilometer has bumps and all that. So we've noticed that the way the cells are put together, vibrations, shock and all that seems to always cause a lot of issues, right? And disconnect the battery cells and all that. So we're having to work on design again and again to make sure that, the mechanical integrity of the batteries are, secure. So yes, I would say those are like the top, three things that has been at our throat at the moment and we're working at solving. So yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Bala. Okay, so what I can pick from your answer is that even though these batteries are, even though these systems are built on global scales, so Nigeria still has its own unique challenges, and all our systems would have to be adapted to suit our local challenges. So thank you so much for that wonderful answer. Thank you, sir. So we are going to be moving to Mr. Ahmad Damchida. And as you've spent 2 decades in energy project finance and mining and commodities, so what does sustainable financing for Nigerian EV operators look like in practice beyond the grants and one-off pilots?
Thank you very much for that. So let's look at it from 2 separate angles, right? Every other part of the world had some form of concessionary funding from their government to kickstart the EV business, right? Every other country, apart from Nigeria, right? Yes, there's something happening at BOI. I think we've waited for 2.5 years now, and I'm sure Korea has waited for longer. So, but there's that sort of. So we had to now, and the grants don't come, right? So our first grant came from the government of Austria in 2023, and it came in form of a design for battery energy storage, right? Why? Because we're in an environment where electricity supply is unstable, so you need some buffer or battery bank to hold power, right? So we got that design. Now, we couldn't use it because it was designed for solar people. So we had to reconfigure everything, right? To now make it intelligent in a manner where it understood the frequency of outage being unpredictable, right? And we also had to increase the capacity of the batteries. So you see, the grant and the impact of that grant was almost zero, right? Because the design didn't work. So now, after that, we were approached by some other grant providers, right? And this is very funny, but they were not interested in us using Chinese equipment, right? And for us, we say, no, everything we have has our input in it. We customize our charging stations. And only Chinese would agree to do that. The Europeans will tell me, why do you want me to amend this? They don't understand my environment. If I tell them the reason why I want to amend it or make adjustments, right? The next thing you would realize is they will come and poach my market, right? So the most sustainable financing has been meeting people who buy into the idea of electromobility and, in fact, the need to pivot or change the mode of transportation in the country. A lot of good people have been around. I mean, today we have maybe 200 or so vehicles on our platform, owned completely, most of it with commercial banks supporting. But a good number have been with from wonderful people like Max. Max has a couple of vehicles on our platform, right? On a shared ownership basis, where they invest and we invest together. So we're able to scale only because some people have seen reason to co-invest with us to own these vehicles while we operate them, and then we remit their returns from time to time. So the most sustainable mode of financing to me, and I'll tell you, there are two. One, policy, because government policy has also been a good source of funding. How? Through the import duty intervention, right? You make some good savings. Okay. Of course, now it's getting tougher, and of course, if others agree with me, we probably have gotten to the point where we need to all come out and say, government, listen, there's need to filter this entire process, because some people are coming with their dirty ways to distort this our business, where we have genuinely built a source of livelihood from. Policy is a very important one. The second one is collaboration, where you have some form of co-investing with parties that have like minds, right? Commercial bank loans are not viable. Today, we're doing 29.25% as the highest, and then 26 as the lowest, right? Per annum. This is just interest rate, right? Minus the upfront bank charges. So commercial bank loans, they're good to push you somewhere, but ultimately you need to sell a lot of your equity or get like minds to inject capital to refinance that position. There's something we're working on, and I think that would help a lot. We're saying, instead of having Lagride, Max, everybody, Corey, own individual assembly plants, for example. Why don't 20 of us come together and own one assembly plant? So we utilize it and maximize that. We would save the money of setting up multiple assembly plants around the country, right? But the Nigerian factor that plays a major role there is called ego. Nobody wants to be a 1% shareholder in a big plant, right? We are ready to do that. We don't want to build a plant any longer. We stopped building our plants. We've canceled that project. We want to invest in other people's assembly plants, and we want to have multiple people do that. So that sort of collaboration, it's a good source of funding that can actually accelerate the industry's growth and also create a pathway for greater, representation across the board. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. So you're saying that for sustainable financing, government policies is number one, and collaboration from key players in the industry is an additional one. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that wonderful answer. So we are going to be going next to you, Engineer Adigu. And so for EV transition, as it's being sold to young Nigerian partly as a job story, from the NYCN's vantage point, is that story landing? And are the jobs being created actually accessible to the youth that they are aimed at?
Well, thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak here. And first of all, the question I will ask myself is the e-mobility sector, the EV technology. The question you should ask every young person that are here, because when I look at this room, I see over 75% or 70% of them being young people. So what it means is that majorly, they are going to be the largest shareholder of those that are going to be utilizing this vehicle. So the question you should ask is, are electric vehicles another means of transportation to you? Or to you, what it means is another way of also expanding a new economy within the Nigerian system? And for me, I think the latter should be what we should be concerned most about. Firstly is that Lagos and Nigeria has a population where majority of its population, those who uses vehicles, are young people. So what it means is that there is a sector that we need to tap. The question you asked about the fact that are the jobs available yet, or are the jobs here as we speak? The truth of the matter is that the job is emerging, or the jobs are emerging. The jobs are not here as we speak. But of course, we need to put in place a lot of things for us to be able to actualize the full potential of the job. And how do we go about that? The first one is that we must first recognize that there is need for huge collaboration between the government and the private sector. I listen to a lot of what other speakers have said, and I see a lot of challenges, from assembly of batteries, from manufacturing, from product design, from software development, from data analytics. All these things, they are challenges. So there is need for young people that are here and those that are listening to us at home to understand that there's huge potential for us to tap into, for us to be able to maximize this particular the opportunities that are in this particular technology. Secondly, is that we must not also forget that for us to be able to compete heavily compared to other communities, compared to other worlds, compared to other countries, compared to other nations, it is important for there to be high level of intentionality as to the kind of investment that we are going to put into the sector. For example, our schools, our institutions, what type of things are we learning? All of these things will assist us to begin to maximize its potential. And I want to assure everybody that is listening here that for us at the National Youth Council level, so what we have been doing is to ensure that we also prepare our constituency. We know that all of these jobs will come, but we need to prepare them so that they will be available to fill in the gaps for when those jobs arrive. Because when the job actually arrives and we have deficits of talent that cannot fill into the gap, it becomes a challenge. And if you have a population of about 75 demography of young people between 18 to 35, then it is important that you empower them with the prerequisite skill for them to be able to maximize the opportunities that are there. So the question, are we maximizing the job opportunities? Yes, it is emerging, because we need to create new charging stations. We need to create new design systems. We need to create new hubs that will help us to create all of the e-mobility and to tap into the e-mobility system. But how can we achieve it in the long run? Believe you me, we can achieve it if we collaborate appropriately. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Ajigu. So for us to achieve these sustainable vintage points and everything that is being spoken about job creation, so it means that the government, that is the public and the private industries, have to come together and partner, have an intentional partnership towards the demography that holds the highest percentage of the people who use electric cars and mobility systems. So thank you so much, sir. We are going to be having our next round of questions, and we are going to be starting with you, as usual, Engineer Adeshino. And your next question is, your team contributed to the World Bank's Sustainable Green E-Mobility Study for Nigeria. So what's from that roadmap has actually moved, and where are we still behind schedule 3 or 4 years on?
Okay, thank you for that question. So I was part of a team that worked on what we call the Nigeria Green Sustainable E-Mobility Study that was commissioned by the World Bank in 2022 to early part of 2023. So we have various subject matter experts from across Europe and Asia. So we have the mechatronics engineers, the electrical engineers, the transport economists, and the likes of them working with us. At the time, I was with GOPA International Consulting. It's a 4-component project. So one of it is a strategic policy to look at how to assist the federal government with having strategic policies. The other one is what we call the rural e-mobility. So that talks about the 2- and the 3-wheeler segment of the last mile. Then we had the urban mobility, where we looked at the BRT systems for Lagos. Then we had the private and public sector collaboration and partnership component. So some of these, we had opportunity to do studies, carry out studies, not just the desktop, but field studies across some states that we're choosing. Some of the state, we had Lagos, we had Oyo State, Ibadan, we have Kaduna, we have Kano. Then for the campus setup, we have the University of Abuja, because they operated the 2 campus system, where you have the main campus and you have the mini campus. So going to where it is, the roadmaps are actually to get us there. For some of us who have we've been around in the sector, we know that way back 2022, you cannot be having this discussion about e-mobility in Nigeria. People are just like, what are you talking about? Because at the time, while we were concluding the studies, we had issue with the financing, because at that time that we concluded the report around April of 2023, the price for fuel for PMS is 165. So when we run the analysis and everything, you would not in 10 years be able to pay for the cost of a vehicle. Do you understand? So it was not attractive, not going to work. So, but shortly in May, we just saw in May 29, subsidy is gone. So that statement is so much loaded that it has changed so many things. And I can tell you that statement brought us to where we are now in that sector, in e-mobility sector. Why? Because it now becomes important. So we have seen insights from the interactive session that we had, how that the cost, even though Nigeria is a country that we are used to second-hand vehicles, we are not used to new ones. But then when you put them side by side now with the policy, so going to the question one after the other, when you look in terms of policy, we have seen how the government itself has moved. Now we talked about the import duty exemption. At the time, we were talking about IDEC, to get the IDEC certificate that reduces your import duties to something around 5 to 7%, to just like 6 weeks ago, where we had another policy pronouncement that says 0 EV import duty. As a matter of fact, on my way here, I had a chat with the senior custom officer, to say, this policy, where are we? Are we taking off? You understand? Because it's not about the pronouncement. It's also to follow through to know what it is, implementation. So in that regard, we have seen that policy come in place, and it's working gradually, making us go close to the objectives. Another one is looking at the policy that brought in the likes of the PICNG, which was an interventionist agency. And towards the end of last year, they added a mandate of electric vehicle to them. And so we have seen that some of these things are helping to stimulate the environment to make the roadmap. So I can say, yeah, gradually we are moving. And what it is, we are looking at the adoption rate. Gradually, the adoption rate is becoming, I was with a group of people yesterday. I took a ride in Bolt. The XGS is here. In the boat ride around the Surulere area, you know, in the three-wheeler, in the keke. So he's here with us. We've been talking to see how these policies are going. The other one is a public-private partnership. You can, you know, I can tell you that this sector is fully and wholly being driven by the private sector. And so we as an association in MPAN, we are also working with government agencies to see how policy can interface such that we have a safe landing and safe operating environment for members and for the ecosystem as well. So some of these are moving. We are not yet there, but we are moving gradually. Another one I would like to talk about, which I spoke about earlier, is about the standards. So innovations are there, standards are being put in place to make sure that the market is not over standardized, that stifles innovation, but then allow gaps, because we know, I can tell you for free, for today, 95% of our EVs. As a matter of fact, we've been hearing EVs, we've seen cars. We should also know that three-wheelers, which is keke and bike, behind me here, they are also vehicles. So EV is any vehicle propelled by electricity, by the use of battery. So we need to understand that. So 95% of these vehicles you're seeing here are from China. So it is only safe to say, okay, let's relax. What charging connector, what charging type comes from that region? But then what works best for us? So why not losing innovation? We're also making sure that we don't stifle innovation to allow for the standards. Else, you have everything dumped on us, then this place, this country becomes a junkyard. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So that's so wonderful to hear that 3 to 4 years on, we've actually made lots of progress. So that is excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Engineer Adeshino. We are going to be moving over to you again, Mr. Bala. And your next question is, what piece of the EV value chain is the hardest to produce locally today? And what would it take to unlock that?
I would say before it was the battery, but now we're beginning to, you know, crack that part. I would say it's most likely the more complex electronics, like controllers, you know, the display system, yeah, all those areas that seem to have a lot of hardware and software mix, right? Embedded systems, IoTs, you know, all those areas. Of course, we're beginning to see, you know, companies, you know, come up in those areas. So gradually, Nigeria is, you know, getting there. I was at Innovate Hub some time ago in Abuja, and I was so impressed to see, you know, they were building, you know, PCBs in-house, you know, so gradually we're beginning to catch up. So overall, I don't think there's any part that is so complex anymore, right? Maybe the metal, you know, stamping areas for the four-wheelers, that has been a huge, you know, bottleneck in Nigeria. Our steel industries are not working, you know. So yeah, I think I would say around that area, the complex, you know, electronics, then the chassis, you know, building the chassis, anything that has to do with, you know, the metal frames and all. What it would take to unlock it. like he has said, funding, and the will to really want to see it work, right? So I schooled in my secondary school was in Kogi State, where you have Ajaokuta Steel, right? And for 6 years, I kept having hope that that steel industry would wake up before I finished secondary school. I finished secondary school, I finished university, I'm married, I have kids till now. Did you get? So I think, and we had seen a lot of announcements from the government. A German company is coming to take over to, fix the steel industry, and then we don't hear anything again. Later we hear a Chinese company is coming to fix it, and then we don't hear anything. So, I would say most likely around the steel, industry area, that will be one major area that we will need to unlock, and a lot of funding and a lot of will to actually want to see it work rather than just, a white elephant.
All right. So you're saying that aside from the funding, that the will to see it works is one of the most things that we need to unlock in our systems today. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Bala, for that excellent answer. So my next question will be going to Mr. Damchida. And since you sit across energy, mining, and now mobility, what single misalignment between Nigeria's energy strategy and its EV ambitions worries you the most?
Thank you very much. So today you have 47 reasons why Nigeria does not have stable electricity. And these reasons include the fact that our settlements, human settlements, were initially built for a certain number of people. And I'll use Lekki. So Lekki, Epe, that axis, was built for less than 400,000 people, right? So human expansion has outpaced infrastructure expansion. So the electricity supply to that location, right, has not grown at the same pace as the human expansion. Secondly, our town planning has been a problem. Why? So if you go to another country, and this is based on my experience, right? I've been part of maybe 70 projects in my life, right? So if you go to other countries, industrial settlements would have low income to middle income settlements next to them so that electricity cross subsidy can happen, right? If these guys consume at night, these guys will consume during the day, and then that balance happens. Lekki, for example, has changed from a fully residential to now almost a mixed-use area. But the infrastructure supplying electricity and every other thing hasn't changed, hasn't mutated to recognize this change. So this is a problem. It has created a gap, right? Another thing you have to also look at is the fact that when we look at electricity from the perspective of being a social good, it is wrong. When Thomas Edison made his discovery and lined up New York, his aim for putting all those transmission lines or distribution lines was not to supply power for free, right? Power cannot be for free. It cannot be subsidized. The fact that we keep subsidizing electricity in our country is a problem. Yes, we want people to afford it, right? But it's easier to improve the standard of living of those people so that they can afford it rather than you dropping the cost down. Are we going to have stable electricity? Not in the near future. I take my word, right? That is a big gap. Another thing you have to also see that has created that gap is the fact that localization does not recognize standards. So today you see, as of last week now, it's become very clear that some people go to China and bring in Second Life EVs. Second Life is they've gone and rebuilt the EVs. They've changed some of the battery components. Those batteries that are weak have been changed, and they've now started bringing them into Nigeria, right? And I'll tell you the risk. Nobody is certifying those vehicles. A few months back, there was a vehicle that caught fire. And I asked why. And somebody said it was thermal runaway. And I said, but SON and NADDC should know this, right? They should know that thermal runaway is a problem. You can't open the doors and people will start bringing Second Life EVs. A lot of them. There are a lot of them around. None in this room anyway. But so far, a lot of them around. You can see them on those other platforms. They're all Second Life vehicles. Their batteries have been altered. Their batteries have been replaced. Those cells have been replaced with normal cells. And the OEMs of those vehicles have not certified them for use. They can't use those vehicles in China. They can't use them in Hong Kong. But we are using them here in Nigeria. I've seen 145 of them, right? 50 in Abuja already. The balance are in Lagos, right? And a lot of you book them on those apps. You book them, come and they move you around. So the standards must actually be enforced. The lack of enforcing standards is a huge gap, right? So I've taken it upon myself, and I'm going to petition NADDC, right? By next week, they will get my own petition. I'll put MPAN in copy and everybody. And I'll say it clearly. They're not my competitors. I'm not selling vehicles. I operate a mobility system. I have a large fleet, more than 200 on my own platform, all owned and operated. What they're doing is to the passenger, right? They're not cheaper than me. I'm cheaper than them, right? But they are endangering the lives of passengers that would one day take up their phones and use my app. So it's better for government to look at enforcing that, NADDC especially. There's nothing wrong in rebuilding a car, but certification has to happen. You must open a certification center locally. There are 3 or 4 companies doing it, Chinese-owned companies here doing it. And it's not CIG, it's none of the big people. It's those small guys who have come and opened shop here. 145 of those cars are in the country. Nobody has certified them. They have new batteries that are, parasitic and not uniform cells. So some cells will be CATL, some cells will be Connex, some cells will be all sorts of, those names. And guess what? One day, the guy will be in traffic, the weather is too hot, and the passenger sitting in the back seat will become toast. We don't want that to happen. So we should really close these gaps from the electricity supply angle, right? The more vehicles come on stream, we will start to have little problems. People think charging at home is beneficial. I agree. It is good. It's cheaper, right? But it's a risk because most of our buildings, right, the wiring is wrong. Most of the buildings in our homes, the wiring is not correct. So they will be ruining your batteries. Go to the commercial charge stations and pay that little $1,000. It's cheaper than the fuel station and get charged. Yes, we have a big one. We will make a lot of money if you do that. I agree. But it's for your own good. Because I visited somebody and he had 3 EVs, all 3 plugged to the wall. And I said, do you have a wiring diagram of your building? He said, no. I said, can I tell you something? I'll come and check your SOH, which is the state of health. I can bet you it's less than 95. That's a brand new car, but he had less than 95. Why? Because the wiring of our buildings, nobody supervised it. Some people build a house and do this bypass, not to pay Eco Disco and all those people. That alone is creating some complexity, right? So we need to step up and prepare for this industry. We need to see the distribution companies, for example, if you go to a distribution substation, they will tell you they're losing 500,000 kilowatt hours daily. Give me space inside. Let me put EV charging station. Those 500 kilowatt hours you're losing, let me be charging cars inside there, right? If you're truly losing it, you reject power, right? If you go to Dolphin, they're rejecting power there. You go towards Aja, near Chevron. They're rejecting power there, right? But to give you land to put a charging station, they will be calling all sorts of money. Then landlords in Lagos and Abuja, they use the land as the last asset they have in their lives. They don't want to give you a small piece of land to put a charging station. They want you to pay millions of naira. We have decided we're no longer building charging stations. We're going to operate mobile charging systems, self-powered. They'll be on wheels. I don't need anybody's land, right? The reason is because people who have land will not give it to you at a decent rate. They've heard EV. They think you're making billions, right? Just 25 square meter in Lekki to put a charging station. You're asked to pay 30 million per annum. 25 square meters. That's the cost of renting a full property, right? In Lekki Phase 1. 30 million. So these are the issues. We need to close these gaps. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmad. I was going to iterate on that, but you went really, really detailed in it. So thank you so much. Our last question is going to be going to Engineer Adigu. So as a tech consultant who has led youth policies across Lagos and Ogun State, what is the gap between what the government's EV policy promises young people and what actually reaches them on the ground?
Well, I think he has mentioned a lot of those gaps. He has mentioned a lot of them. So, but for me, I'm going to tailor some of those gaps to how it affects and how young people can also contribute to bridge those gaps. The first one is I see a lot of knowledge gap in this situation. When you mention the fact that we have difficulty in having charging stations here and there, it is because a lot of people are yet to be aware about the emerging opportunity that is in this ecosystem. So we need to increase the gap. We need to increase the education of people from across all levels of life, most especially the young people. Sincerely, if a lot of young people know the amount of opportunities that are in this e-mobility sector, sincerely, they will begin to brace up to embrace it. So we must increase, and we must also look for a way to also improve in how we create EV power stations. If there's a way we can have those stations here and there created by government, I think it will also assist, of course, private sector players to also come on board to support the government to be able to bridge this gap. Sincerely, the opportunities that are available, we are not tapping it yet. But for us to tap it, we must be able to synergize between government and private sector, and we must also amplify the knowledge gap. Another one that is also missing, when you talk about knowledge gap, is the fact that we must also begin to empower people with problem-solving skills. People also need to know that there is huge opportunity in terms of entrepreneurship, business, doing business. All young people that are here must see themselves as job creators and not looking for jobs. A lot of people that are here, if you ask them, are you looking for, you'll say, yes, I'm still looking for a job. But there is opportunity for you to be able to expand your horizon. And when you expand it, what happens is at the end of the day, you become employers of labor. And by so doing, we are able to now bridge all of this gap. Are we going to get there like today? It's going to be very difficult. But with right policy formulation by government and huge partnership and right partnership from the private sector, we should be able to achieve it in no time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Adigu. For the want of time, we are just going to use 1 minute for each of the panelists to give our takes on this question. So the question is, if you had to name the single biggest obstacle to making electric mobility mainstream in Nigeria within the next 5 years, what policies, money, power, and talent and trust, what would you name, and what one move would you make about it? So we can just have 1 minute to just go around, give our own takes and inputs.
Okay, this question does look like an objective question. So you have them listed. So out of all these listed, well, I wouldn't say money, I would say finance. Yeah, so I'll use the word finance, and it comes in different modes, in different stakes, because we can dovetail into just like what Mr. Hamad says. The finance part of it is not the physical money alone. We talk in terms of charging infrastructure. Government can make pronouncement to say, because you're going to put a charging pile across this is what I'm going to do. Landlords or even donate land to make it possible. Also work with discos, provide feeders that will support this. So you will see that in no time, people, investors who are ready and willing to make this sector scale, they will step out. Why? Because those things serve as incentives. Just like we have been seeing import duty and whatever. And also, let me not say more. So I would say finance, which is key. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Engineer Dikun, you can go next. Yes, yes. You can
Okay,
go.
so for me, again, I'll only push for talent. Talent. So I think when we do or invest heavily in talent development, you see, policy cannot formulate itself. Talent formulates the right policies and implements those policies. When you have right talent, you formulate the right policies and you implement the right policies. Money cannot just disappear. You need the right talent to be able to get money and to be able to spend the money correctly. That is financing also. That money is financing. Also, you need talent to be able to manage all of these things properly. So for me, I think talent development is key. When you have high investment in talent development, what happens is that all of these sectors are going to be well managed and our society is going to benefit from him at the end of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, can we have Mr. Damchida? No, Mr. Damchida, you can go next.
Okay. So, I'll behave like Oliver Twist. I'll take policy and talent. Now, talent is very important. And, thank you very much, Edigo. So for policy, right? Without policy, even the opportunity for the talent to be acquired or skills to be acquired will not be there. And I'll start. Until we started this transportation business, we didn't realize that a lot of people driving and having driver's license are actually not people who can drive. Out of 100, if we interview, maybe 40 become successful. Why? Either they don't know how to drive, two, they don't even understand traffic rules and laws. They even don't understand how to engage people, right? It's a problem. We need to improve that capacity. We give driver's license to just everybody. I'll tell you, trust me, a lot of people are not mentally stable. A lot of those people you see in traffic, they're not mentally stable, right? They will drive just based on what they understand, but they don't know how to drive. We need to improve that. A lot of the technicians we have today, right? And please, let's try and emphasize on the fact that this is not the job of a rewire by the roadside. We need to improve that rewire. That rewire needs to start wearing gloves, needs to understand the impact and consequences of heavy voltage batteries. I've seen people joining wires. This same EV business in Nigeria, I've seen people joining wires, make we work out, So we need to improve talent properly, certify the talent in a manner that the talent can actually fit the requirements of the industry. But there must be a policy behind that, because the policy itself shouldn't be the type that is just made as a policy statement or pronouncement for political score. No. It should be real. It should be real, right? And I think these two are very important. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bala. You can close it up.
All right. Yeah, I was going to go for talent also. Yeah, but yes, I would also say talent, right? Talent Then I wanted to do like a hybrid of talent and trust. But this trust now is not just for the e-mobility, it's for every single sector, right? It seems like a lot of things have become a commonplace, you know, to get kickbacks, to bribe, or you want to do something somewhere, you have to settle. You know, that lack of integrity, you know, is also crippling a lot of systems, not just the e-mobility system. So I would say talent, right? But at the same time, we having to consciously try to overhaul our mindset. It's more prevalent in Africa. I know it's around the world, but our mindset of that lack of integrity, right? We need trust. If we have if someone that's talented, for instance, that wants to set up a proper charging infrastructure, for instance, and wants to get funding, I've seen it a lot. You would see a lot of whitewashing and falsifying a lot of information because you are trying to impress, you know, who you are trying to get funds from. You know, so I think that trust / integrity is also key. That we have, you know, that mindset or the kind of mindset that just has integrity, you know, and people can trust us and know that they will not be, you know, 419 or later get to work with us and find out that we are dubious in some certain areas, you know. So yes, those are the things I was.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So what we are taking out of this session is that to make electric mobility mainstream in Nigeria, we need trust, we need good policies, we need the right talent, and we need the most important one, if you ask me, finance. So thank you so much, my panelists, for these wonderful sessions. We are going to be taking our questions before the end of the event, but for the want of time, let's just have a little interactive session. Thank you so much, sirs.
Please give our panelists a huge round of applause. A huge round of applause. A huge round of applause.
You have so much. Yeah.
Yeah, so the workshop is coming up. They've already allocated that.
Yeah, send count. Only
section.
Slide.
Okay, please, another round of applause for our panelists. That was an amazing session. I hope you learned a lot. I know you guys have questions. I'm really, really sorry, but because of time, we can't take any questions right now. If you have any questions, I think they will still be here for a while. And if there's anything you want to send to them, just in case they leave early, you can always give it to the Arthurite team and they will definitely relay your questions to them. Is that all right? Sir? The questions. No, we can't take questions now. We can't take any questions right now. Please, time has gone. We have so much to do. What? 2 questions. Okay. Okay. The problem is they've left the stage. So how do we bring them back to ask them? Okay. Okay, so I don't know. Can the panelists please come back?
No. So
that's
they
the
can
thing.
answer from wherever they are.
Okay.
Okay, yours is a contribution.
Okay.
Question.
Contribution. Okay.
Okay, we have one contribution
And we have one extra question.
We can't take the whole hall. You've asked before, so you're not asking. You've asked before, so
He's
you're
asked
not
before,
asking.
so yes.
So
let's take the contribution first, then we'll choose.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name
Yes.
again is Engineer Lumese Wadode from the National Automotive Design and Development Council. So I want to say a very big thank you to all of our panelists. They made very, very variable, sensible contribution discussions. But I want to quickly respond to a few of their positions. Now, they talked a lot about policy. And I must be very frank with you, as an agency of government, we are doing a lot to address that. First off, there's the EV policy that we have put together and is currently at the National Assembly for legislation. Now, let's get something straight. A policy itself is not something that has biting jaws. It is only when it is legislated, it becomes a law that you can actually fully enforce it. So while we have put up this policy, where we have sent it to the National Assembly to be enacted as an act of parliament to become a law, I would crave the indulgence of our panelists, Engineer Dakbo and Mr. Mr. Ahmed. We have this policy, an EV policy, sitting at the National Assembly as we speak. Yes. So I would like you as stakeholders, when it becomes the time to do the public hearing, to be very available to support this policy. Why I'm saying so is because we had the same issues with the National Automotive Industry Development Plan, which is presently a policy and waiting to become an act of parliament. It never saw the light of day because stakeholders did not support it. As an agency of government, we can write these policies, but we cannot force it down the throat of the average Nigerian who are represented by our legislators. So please, when the time comes, mobilize yourself, mobilize your supporters, mobilize other stakeholders to make sure that this EV policy becomes a law, because there will be stiff opposition from the fossil fuel providers. That's a part. Then for the for manpower development, you talked about so much about skills, talent. Talent is basically skill and manpower development. Now, I mentioned in the presentation, in the keynote